This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate first part of What If Naruto traveled back in time and saved Minato. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Naruto gazes at the few remaining stars in the early morning, just before sunrise, through the small window of his prison cell. In his heart, he questions whether his friends are watching him from above, eager for him to embrace them. In the numerous conflicts that have engulfed Konoha since the latter years of Tsunade's rule as Godem, all of his friends have perished. All that remains of the Hokage and her assistant Shizune, who were the first to perish in the conflict with Oto, is the fact that they were able to take Yakushi Kabuto with them. Then, while attempting to learn more about the group, Jiraiya was killed in combat with the Akatsuki's Zetsu. Tamari, the majority of the Suna reinforcement, and teams 8 and 10 all lost to Iwa and Kumo in combat. Even though they were able to take the majority of the Akatsuki with them, the Akatsuki attempted to attack Naruto after Konoha barely survived the war, and Gaara, Kankuro, Lee, and Guy all lost their lives in the battle. When Kiri decides to attack the 4 villages, he takes advantage of the other villages' weakness following the protracted war, and all of the other more skilled ninjas are killed. The village barely made it through, but only Kakashi and Sakura, who were close to him, made it out alive. That is, until they were killed by Sasuke, who had chosen to look for a new objective after slaying the weaker Itachi following the Akatsuki's attack on Konoha. Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa were already under Oto's control. He personally led the campaign against Konoha, leaving the conquest of Suna to his aides. Naruto used the Kyuubi's power to kill Sasuke and his entire army because he was furious that his 2 surviving friends had died. Every shinobi nation suffered greatly as a result of years of non-stop fighting, which destroyed villages and devastated the countryside. In the end, the daimyos made the decision to imprison the sole surviving Kage, Rokudame Hokage Uzumaki Naruto, and banish all remaining shinobi. Naruto had already been imprisoned in this tiny cell for 6 months without anything more than a few false accusations. However, by accusing Naruto of treason and executing him, the daimyos made the decision to use him as a warning to any remaining shinobi. Naruto knew for a long time that it wouldn't matter, so he never said a word to defend himself or acknowledge the crime during the hearings. Rather, he spends most of his time talking to the Kyuubi or gazing up at the sky. The guards outside are rushing around getting ready to carry out their superior's orders as the execution is scheduled for noon today. From the seal, Kyuubi says, "Kit. Kyuubi, what do you want now? Time is almost here. I am aware of that. You must know what you're doing, yes. The only time you told me was 238 times. I'm just repeating myself because it needs to be done at the right moment or it won't work. If it doesn't work, you can enjoy frightening the world. I don't see any issues. You ungrateful kid, I'm not doing this for your benefit. Kyuubi, don't worry, I'll be alright. I haven't told you everything there is to know about the technique. Alright, then proceed. That isn't appropriate just yet. You will eventually learn the truth. In addition, we have a visitor's kit." Without looking back at the guards, Naruto asks, "What do you guys want?" "Be grateful that we're even bringing you your last meal, punk." Kyuubi interrupts the seal. "I'm sure that adding a few counts of murder doesn't change much." Kyuubi, cut it out. Why? Why can't we do it if it makes us feel better and it doesn't affect the idiots giving the sentence? In between, you're overlooking the families of these idiots. If I give them any reason to despise me after I pass away, I will be damned. You're no fun, Shay. As if they already don't feel that way about you. You wouldn't be sitting here if they didn't despise you. You wreaked havoc on the Oto army a few months ago, and I thought you had enough fun. I did, but it never hurts to have more fun. The guard yells, "If you ain't going to eat, then I'm going to take the plates with me," when he doesn't listen. Go ahead, I won't be needing it in a few hours. Beside, it's against my policy to take poison right before being executed. Why you punk? After forcing the guard from his cell with a burst of chakra, Naruto shuts the door behind him. To get Kyuubi to stop bugging him about it, Naruto closes his eyes and repeats the entire process in his mind. He is eventually led to the execution site by a larger contingent of guards who enter the cell. All of the guards take a few steps back as Naruto gets to his feet because the Rokudame easily outweighs them by at least 6 inches. The final reminder of Naruto's physical attributes, the blood-red eyes that stare back at them when he turns around, frightens them even more. The guardsmen gulped and cuffed Naruto's wrists before escorting him from the cell. The daimyos forbade anyone from even crying for the last Hokage, so nobody came to bid him farewell on his last journey. The official who is observing the execution declares, "Your time has finally come." Apart from Naruto, the official, the executioner, and a few guards, the entire execution site is deserted. Kyuubi laughs at the level of ground defense. With this pitiful number of people observing him, Naruto can easily escape if he so chooses. He is positive that Naruto would have been far away by now if it weren't for the requirement that he die in order for the plan to succeed. Any last words, you monster? On second thought, I don't even want to hear it. Executioner, do you job? The executioner walks over to Naruto and nods. Nobody sees that Naruto is performing a lengthy series of hand seals or that a tiny bit of red chakra is leaking out of his hand. As Naruto finishes the sequence, the executioner swings his arms down and raises his blade. The instant the blade passes through Naruto's neck, a massive chakra explosion occurs, instantly killing the executioner. The guards and the official hardly have time to comprehend what is happening before the chakra engulfs them as well. A big column of red chakra can be seen rising toward the sky and then gradually fading away if one looks up. When Naruto opens his eyes once more, he discovers that he is being held while they move quickly. Naruto tries to fight his way out of the person's arms but finds that his strength is insufficient to do so. Naruto sees the Kyuubi standing in front of him and the person holding him standing atop Gamabunta when the two finally come to a halt. When Naruto finally realizes his location, he reaches out and tries to grab the person's arm before he can finish the final seal, but he is unable to do so and ends up in the Shinigami's presence. The Shinigami reaches past the person and Naruto, aiming straight at the Kyuubi, rather than doing what the person wants it to. What's going on? Namikaze. Normally I should take your soul away for bringing me to this realm. You should be glad that your child and his companion have given me a sacrifice to save your life, the Shinigami responds. Now Kyuubi, be gone. Go back to your resting place. The time for your awakening will come, but for now, recuperate and be prepared to fulfill your purpose. Very well, Shinigami. Sama. Once more, Yondaime asks, what is happening? The Shinigami says, you will find your answer in due time as well, and then she and the Kyuubi vanish. Immediately after the Kyuubi vanishes, Yondaime is joined by a silver-haired ninja. He glances at the baby, who is staring at him in a startling manner, but he ignores it and turns to face the Hokage. Sensei, is the Kyuubi gone? I thought that your technique would, not that I'm unhappy with you being alive. I understand, Kakashi. Even though I'm not entirely sure myself, the Kyuubi is indeed gone. I will deliver the news to Sandaime, Sama and the rest of the village. Before turning to face the child in his arm, the Yondaime says, go ahead. Naruto, you are a very special child, aren't you? He asks. Yondaime Hokage can almost swear that he can see a smirk and a glimmer of pride in his son's eyes if he doesn't know any better. Namikaze Minato sighs and returns to the village with the remaining ninja squads that were dispatched to contain the Kyuubi. Everyone in the room, including his predecessor, the council elders, and the various clan heads, starts asking him questions as soon as he enters his office. Sandaime asks, is the sealing unsuccessful? No, I never managed to get to the sealing procedure. The Shinigami simply says something about my child offering sacrifices and orders the Kyuubi to leave. One of the councilmen asks, but how? The Shinigami only tells me that I will find my answer in due time. Sandaime states, I think it's time for us to return to our homes and rest, before any more questions are asked. It's been a long few days. Yes, I think it would be best. After creating an illusion in the Yamanaka flower shop that turns it into a store full of man-eating plants and scares every customer, including the family that owns the business, out of their minds and out of the establishment. 4-year-old Naruto flees the scene of his most recent prank. He is currently being chased from rooftop to rooftop by an enraged Inoichi. His wife is still at the store trying to soothe their sobbing daughter, who won't go back. After a few moments, Naruto's rage completely obstructs any ability to identify his location, and he crashes into his father's office, followed shortly after by Inoichi. Minato glances up from his paperwork and asks, all right, Naruto, what did you do this time? Hokage. Sama. It's okay, Inoichi. I'm sure my son has caused a lot trouble, Minato says as he turns back toward his child. Would you ever stop giving me trouble? I'm still trying to keep the Naras from trying to kill you for painting the nose of every deer they own to red and dangling ornaments in their antlers. As soon as you take me to the Shrine of Fire like you promised. The Shrine of Fire? Inoichi inquires, forgetting all of his rage in the presence of the village chief. Yes. He has been clamoring about it ever since he knows how to talk. I'm still trying to figure out how he found out about such an out-of-the-way shrine. Excuse me, but perchance it has something to do with it. There is a chance that may be it, but Naruto simply refuses to tell me the reason. With the childlike scream, I want to go, Naruto exclaims. Fine. As soon as I take care of what you did to Inoichi, I will find Sarutobi Sama to watch the village for a few days. Now, what did you do? Ino Chan says that I'm weak. I showed her. I'm not the one crying my eyes out and refusing to go back home. Minato asks with a sigh, Inoichi, what did he do? He put a genjutsu over my shop, turning it into a man-eating plant paradise. Normally I would be impressed that someone as young as Naruto can handle such a genjutsu, but to use it on my shop while Ino's still inside. I understand, Inoichi. I'll take Naruto over to your place and apologize to your family. After that, I will punish him accordingly. In the end, Naruto is punished by being made to study in the library while Chunin watches over him. After finally calming down, Ino complained about the punishment, but Naruto felt that it was more cruel than anything Minato could imagine to forbid him from running around or talking loudly. Minato takes his son to the Shrine of Fire in the forest north of the village after completing his sentence and asks the Sandaime to cover for him for a week. When he gets there, Naruto asks, why is this place so run down? This shrine hasn't been in use since Nidaime's time, Naruto. Great. Now I have to look all over to find the stupid fox. Why didn't he tell me this is what the place looks like? I didn't know this place turned out this way either, stupid brat, an individual says. It was still perfectly fine when I left. Minato looks in all directions and asks, who said that? All right. Where are you, you stupid fox? If you clear a path amongst the rubble to the middle of the shrine, you'll see a stairway down. Naruto, who are you talking to? Dad, come on. You heard him, let's go. But, as Minato watches his son cross his arms, pout, and impatiently tap his foot, he starts to perspire. Minato sighs and tells his son to back off before forming multiple Kage Bunshin to clear the debris. He could have cleared the area with his Rasengan, but he suspects that he will want to keep the shrine as intact as possible. Once everything is out of the way, Naruto yanks his father in the direction of the concealed stairwell where the altar once stood. Once underground, the two travel the simple route until they come to a door. Naruto opens the door before his father can even stop him. The loud voice emits from a vase in the center of the room. So you finally decide to show up. Being trapped here was worse than being trapped in your stomach, and you know how much I hate being trapped in your stomach, it says. How did you end up trapped in a vase? No thanks to the stupid Shinigami. He said I have to stay hidden here in case someone frees me before my time comes. If I had known this would happen, I would have kept attacking the village for the heck of it. The darn raccoon was trapped in something roomier than this. Fine. Shut up already, you stupid fox. How'd I get you out? Only you can remove the seal on the mouth of the vase. Take it off and I'll be out. Wait a minute. Why should my son release the demon that attacked the village just a couple of years ago? Because if you want your son to get stronger, you'll need me. What is all this nonsense now, Dad? It's a long story. I'll tell you all about it after I let the stupid fox out so he'll stop his complaining. Disregarding his father's grumblings, Naruto breaks the vase's seal, and a thick cloud of smoke quickly fills the room. A tiny Kyuubi is stretching where the vase was when the smoke clears. Finally, I'm out again. Why do you look so small? Stupid brat. I can't have this place caving in while the three of us are still in here now, can I? Naruto. Oh, right, the explanation. Sit tight, Dad, I can't have you fainting on me. I'll try, Minato says, glancing between the little nine-tailed fox and his son. Naruto spends roughly 30 minutes explaining the events of his past life, how he got here, and how he saved his father's life. Despite all the information, Minato manages to remain conscious, though it takes a lot of work. Naruto turns to face the tiny fox by his side as it extracts a tiny scroll that is concealed in one of the loose walls, realizing that his father needs some time to process everything. What are you doing? This is the summoning scroll for the fox. Sign it while I bring someone out to keep an eye on you until you're ready to train with me. Naruto signs the contract and asks, what do you mean keep an eye on me? We can't exactly have a nine-tailed fox walking around the village while I'm waiting for you to grow physically. I'm sending one of my guards to protect you and prepare you until you're ready for my training. Oh. Through a portal the Kyuubi created, a fox asks, Kyuubi Sama, did you call for me? Yes. I've picked this kid, so keep an eye on him until he's ready. Very well, Kyuubi Sama. Minato finally joins the discussion, saying, wait a minute, my village is still very weary of anything that has to do with foxes. Even if she's a silver fox. Fine, Kyuubi comments, turning to face the other fox, this will hurt a bit. Minato and Naruto watch in disbelief as Kyuubi attacks the silver fox, inflicting multiple severe wounds. Kyuubi points his head in the direction of the wounded fox and requests that the two bring it back for medical attention while fabricating a story about how they discovered her in the wild. Minato picks up the wounded fox and leaves the shrine, believing it to be a reasonable pretext to allay people's fears that it might be mistaken for a demon. So where are you going to go now? I will return to the demon realm with the scroll for a small bit just in case anyone tries to cause any troubles for me. I have no idea if the Akatsuki has taken form yet, but keep an eye on some of their members and targets. Got it. Minato yells from the doorway, Naruto, hurry up. Those are some pretty nasty wounds, even though this silver fox is a demon. Okay, I'm coming. Kyuubi says, I will see you in a few years kid, and then vanishes in a whirlpool of red chakra. When the villagers witness their leader bringing back an injured fox, there is a slight commotion in the village. Their outbursts only end when Minato explains that he discovered the fox while it was being attacked by a boar and that no demon would permit itself to sustain such severe injuries without retaliating. After a week or so, the Inuzukas were able to revive the fox, and Naruto brought it home that same day. That day, Naruto finds his father examining a scroll with a frustrated expression on his face when they arrive home. What's wrong, Dad? It's just some diplomatic message I got from a foreign village. It's nothing you have to worry about. Hey, come on. I was a Hokage too. Tell me what it says. It's a message from Kumo. It says that the Raikage wants to send over an ambassador to negotiate and sign a peace treaty. Now that you mention it, I remember something that Neji told me during my first Chunin exam. Neji? As in Hyuga Neji? Yeah, that's him. He told me that the Kumo ambassador was there to kidnap Hinata-chan. What? I'm going to refuse this request. Wait, I have an idea. Oh, you remember how I told you about an organization named Akatsuki, right? Yes. What does that have to do with this? Just let him come in. We'll catch him in the act, alive, then I'll tell you the rest of my plan. Oh, and we'll need to invite the Cage too, just as a witness. Just make up an excuse that since Suna is our ally, so they'll have to be part of the negotiations as well. I really need to be careful around you. Who know how many more devious plots you have in that brain of yours? Hey, I do have over 30 years of pranking experience, or did you forget about that? It still hasn't completely sunk in. It's too far-fetched to believe, but all the evidences make it hard not to believe it. I felt the same way when the stupid fox first told me about it. Ow, what did you bite me for? How dare you disrespect Kyuubi? Sama. I've always called him that. I've been calling him that for over 20 years. If he doesn't care about that, then why should you? Kyuubi. Sama is the master of the demon foxes. I will not allow you to disrespect him. Bah, whatever. Dang, this hurts. Even if I kept some of Kyuubi's regenerative powers, it's still not healing as fast. Move your hand away. Naruto just ignores the fox and keeps tending to his wound while staring at it bewildered. The fox, irritated, uses its snout to push Naruto's hand away and begins licking the wound. Naruto first flinches from the agony before realizing that the wound is healing far more quickly than it was previously. When the wound has fully healed, the silver fox retreats. My saliva has the same healing power as Kyuubi, Sama's chakra. So do all silver foxes, no just me. Oh. Okay. I'm finally done with my response message. You mean to tell me that you didn't even pay attention to me when I was attacked? I'm sure you can take care of yourself. Alright, I'll just have Kakashi and Rin send this message back. Wait a minute, Rin? As in your student? Yes, what of it? Now that I think about it, you still haven't met either of them yet, have you? At least in this lifetime, Minato responds. That time right after the Shinigami sent Kyuubi away didn't count. That doesn't matter right now. I don't think you should send her. Why not? Kakashi and her have been working together ever since Obito died. Kakashi. Sensei never told me how either of his teammates died, but he was very aggressive when he was fighting against the Kumo Nins when they attacked. Even more so than the Iwa Nins. But Obito died in Iwa. He absolutely hate their guts. That's why I think that Rin.Ne-chan might have died in Kumo. But then why would the old man let the Kumo.Nin enter Konoha if they killed Rin on this mission? Maybe Rin.Ne-chan found out something and confronted the head ninja after he got to Konoha? That could be the case. I suppose I can send someone else, but who should I send? He doesn't work well with anyone else. How about Guy Sensei? I'm sure his power of youth will make Kakashi Sensei come to his senses. Did Kakashi torment you in your previous life? Why do you want to punish him like that? Spending that much time with Maida Guy will drive anyone crazy. Tenten. Chan came out just fine if you ignore the weapon fetish, though Neji and Lee were a bit off when I first met them. I don't think I want to ask who this Lee is. Alright, I'll send Guy with Kakashi this time. I'll have Rin work on training you so they don't suspect anything. After all, Rin is the best at teaching the basics, and from what you told me, that's your worst area. It's not my fault that I haven't had a decent sensei that would teach me the basic from the academy through the time I became Hokage. Yes, but you don't have to worry about that this time around. Alright, time for bed, young man. I'll have Rin teach you starting tomorrow. What? But it's not even that late. No matter how old you are mentally, you're still a kid physically. Off to bed you go. But I could have helped you with the paperwork. Maybe you should have taken that into consideration before spending the day showing off your new friend to everyone. Ah, but the girls just won't stop petting her even if I told them I have to get home. Then that's not my problem. Off to bed. 5 young ninjas are called to the Hokage's office the following day. To their surprise, the Hokage's young son is also seated in the room when they arrive. Hokage. Sama. Why have you called us here so urgently? Is there a youthful task that wish for us to accomplish? Yes. In fact, I have 2 missions that I need taken care of. Hokage. Sensei, what is it? Why do you insist on calling me that Rin? Anyway, Kakashi, Guy, you 2 are to deliver this message scroll to Kumogakure and escort their ambassador to Konoha. Asuma, Kurenai, you 2 are to deliver this scroll to Sanagakure and return with their response. Rin, your job is to start training Naruto in the basics of being a ninja. But Hokage. Sensei, nice to meet you Rin.ne, Chan. Minato can tell Naruto has won the fight just by looking into his eyes, before departing with Guy, who has already taken the scroll and is halfway down the staircase yelling about the powers of youth. Kakashi sighs and puts his hand on Rin's shoulder while nodding. Asuma and Kurenai pick up the other scroll and shake their heads, leaving the room's final 3 occupants. Hokage. Sensei, what about our other guest that I'm taking care of? Oh, I'm sure you can introduce her to Naruto. Hi Hokage. Sensei. Really now, Rin, stop calling me that. But Namikaze. Sensei sounds too informal and Hokage. Sama sounds too formal, Rin complains. Besides, I like calling you Hokage. Sensei. Fine, just get on with your mission. I still have a lot of work to do. Oh, make sure you bring Naruto home by 6. I have to take him over to the Hyuga compound. Heishi invited me over for dinner at the compound tonight. Okay. Come on, Naruto.kun, come on Ginkgo, Chan. Rin finds it a little unsettling to see such a big fox with Naruto. Although she doesn't share some of the villagers' feelings regarding foxes, she is aware that the fox was a wild one until a week ago and could attack the boy at any time. She surmises, though, that if the Hokage permits it to be in Naruto's constant presence, perhaps the Inuzuka did a miracle and subdued it in a week. Rin dismisses the idea and quickly returns home to pick up her other visitor before heading to the closest training facility. Naruto is unable to look away from the newcomer while they're traveling. Dude, this is unbelievable. Although I was aware that Koyuki Haim had been saved by Kakashi. Sensei, I never imagined that he would return her to Konoha. But she's still as cold to everyone as when I first met her. Naruto muses, I thought Sandayu took her with him as soon as Kakashi Sensei got out of Yuki no Kuni. Ginkgo asks in a whisper that only Naruto can hear, is something the matter? Hey, when we get to the training ground, can you help me cheer up Koyuki Haim? You seemed to work wonders yesterday. Fine, whatever. I'll try. Man, you're almost as cold as Koyuki Haim, Ginkgo, Chan. Well, don't expect me to turn good and kiss you on the cheek after you got knocked out. Okay, we're here. As soon as Rin finishes speaking, Naruto looks up and suppresses the urge to moan. Team 7's training ground looks exactly like the one Kakashi took them to when they first formed as a team, down to the 3 tree stumps and the memorial stone by the training ground's edge. Is something wrong, Naruto? No, it's just that I don't particularly like seeing that stone. Makes me sad looking at all the names. Naruto.kun. Those are the names of the heroes of the village. You should show them respect, not try to look away from it. Is that the only way for ninjas to be respected or be seen as a hero by the villagers? To die and have their name on that stone? That's not true, Naruto.kun. You and your father are seen as heroes for chasing away the Kyuubi. But so many other people died because of the attack just for us to be seen that way. I don't want it to happen that way. Rin gives Naruto a brief embrace and remarks, Naruto.kun, you're a really kind child. Well, then you'll just have to get really strong so you can protect them from dying. I swear that I will take over for my old man when the time comes and become the best Hokage Konoha has ever seen. That's the spirit, Naruto.kun. To be able to do that though, you'll have to get through my trainings first. Hi Rin.ne. Chan. Okay Naruto.kun. I'm sure that Hokage Sensei already told you about the basics of chakra. I'm going to teach you how to control it properly. Oh, I just remembered something. Can you give me a moment Rin.ne, Chan? Rin responds, sure, go ahead, as Naruto and Ginkgo approach Koyuki. Hey, can you keep an eye on Ginkgo, Chan for me? After giving Naruto and Ginkgo a quick glance, Koyuki reluctantly nods her head. Since Kakashi brought her back to Konoha, Rin has been berating her for being more gregarious. Since it's only an animal and she doesn't want anyone to bother her, she believes that upsetting the people who are caring for her won't work. Naruto smiles and winks at Ginkgo before stumbling back at Rin, who is observing the conversation with a chuckle on her face. For the remainder of the day, the two go over how to properly shape chakra, throw weapons, and even take a few crash courses on battle tactics. Occasionally, the two would turn to face Koyuki, who would be either petting Ginkgo's fur or whispering in her ear. By the time they get home that night, Koyuki is unwilling to part with the silver fox and is constantly looking at it. After observing her response, Rin proposes that Koyuki spend the night at Naruto's house, and she enthusiastically accepts. Both Kakashi and the Kumo.nin are eager to get rid of Guy and his immature speeches by the time they escorted them back to Konoha. Before Guy irritates the representative any more and ruins the chance for a fruitful negotiation, Kakashi makes the decision to send Guy on his way and report to the Hokage with the Kumo.nin alone. When Kakashi informed the Kumo.nin that Suna would also be sending a representative to Konoha, he saw that he appeared surprised, and Kakashi has been closely monitoring him ever since. Kakashi's curiosity grows as she watches him more closely. After Guy's initial attempt with Kakashi failed, the Kumo.nin persisted in asking him about all the major Konoha clans during the trip, misrepresenting it as a simple inquiry about Konoha's strength prior to negotiations. Of course, Guy had been keeping a lot of information from Kakashi, even though none of it was important for the village's defense, since the Kumo.nin failed to work with Kakashi. When instructed to do so, Kakashi knocks on the door and follows the Kumo.nin to the Hokage's office. Ah, Kakashi, you're back. Asuma, Kurenai, you two are back already. I would have thought that you two would spend some time on your own before coming back. Unlike you, we don't like slacking off. Where's Guy? I sent him back home. It's been a long trip. Knowing exactly what Kakashi means, Minato, Asuma, and Kurenai sigh at his statement. Minato smiles at the Kumo.nin standing on the side, looking past Kakashi. Minato requests his assistant to accompany the Kumo.nin to the hotel, stating that they will start the negotiation the following day. Following the departure of the Kumo.nin, Minato asks, Kakashi? He was asking about the village's ninjas on the entire trip. I see. Maybe my suspicion is not entirely unfounded after all. Very well, the three of you go and get some rest. You've all had a long trip. Hi, Hokage. Sama. Kakashi inquires, Hokage. Sama, is Rin still? Oh, she should be training Naruto at Training Ground 7 right now. Then what about, Koyuki is also there. She seems to have really hit it off with Naruto, well, with Ginkgo at least. Oh, of all the things, the silver fox was what it took to get that princess out of her shell? Asks Asuma. She's been keeping everything inside. I guess she thinks that Ginkgo is someone who would listen to her without letting anyone know what she's feeling. After all, it's best for her to get everything off her chest. I suppose that is true, that poor girl, Kurenai responds. But that would mean that she's still not ready to socialize with others yet, Asuma responds. She has opened up to Rin and Naruto somewhat, at least they're getting more than one-word responses. I'll go check on them then, writes Kakashi. I guess I'll go visit Koyuki. Chan too. Asuma, are you coming? Not like I have anything else to do. I guess I'll check on Naruto's progress and take him to lunch too. Hokage. Sama. What? Is it such a crime that I want to get away from all the paperwork for a while? No sir, Kurenai says abruptly. When the four ninjas get to the training area, they see Koyuki playing with Ginkgo and Rin off to the side, staring at Naruto in disbelief. Rin, what's wrong? Hokage. Sensei, when did you teach Naruto.kun your prized technique? You won't even teach me that? It's not fair? What? The Rasengan. Naruto.kun already knows the first two stages, as well as he can perform it given his lack of chakra. Before catching himself, Minato looks just as shocked as everyone else. Oh? He asks, so he has gotten that far along has he? Hokage. Sensei, I want to learn that technique too, Rin mutters. Really now Rin, you're not a little kid anymore. I want to learn it. Fine, Naruto, why don't you show Rin how to perform the first 2 stages of the Rasengan? Okay. I can't believe he can learn that technique at such a young age. It took me forever to even grasp the basics of the technique. He is my son after all, Kakashi. I know he'll make a great ninja. Hokage. Sama, you are quite difficult to find these days, a voice behind the group proclaims. Oh, Kazekage. Sama. Is something the matter? There is a small issue that I wish to discuss with you. Your assistant told me that I would be able to find you here. May we talk in private? Of course. Tamari, Konkaru, Gaara, the 3 of you may get some light training in. Don't cause any trouble. Yes, father, replies Tamari. Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, keep an eye on the children. Hi Hokage. Sama. As his father leaves with the Kazekage, Naruto turns around. Rin begins nagging Naruto once more to teach her the Rasengan, but Naruto turns to face the Suna siblings instead. Naruto says, "Hey, my name's Namikaze Naruto," and he holds out his hand to Gaara. As Gaara looks at Naruto's outstretched hand in bewilderment, Tamari responds, "I'm Sabaku Tamari. These are my brothers Konkaru and Gaara. Please excuse Gaara, he's somewhat shy." It's okay. Tamari asks, "You are Hokage, Sama's son, right?" Yep. Hey, do the 3 of you want to be my friend? Friend, mumbles Gaara. Yeah. Tamari looks anxiously at her brother and responds, "I guess so, Gaara." After saying, yes, Gaara mumbles, "It's not like it will last long either way." Don't be so negative, Gaara, Naruto says, giving her a shoulder pat. Why didn't the sand, hissing, Konkaru, be quiet, Tamari says. As the Kazekage puts it, I see the 4 of you have really hit it off. When Tamari says, Hokage, Sama, father, you have returned. Yes. Actually, it's good that you have become friends. The 3 of you will be staying at Konoha. Hokage. Sama knows someone who would be able to treat Gaara's condition. But what about you, father? I don't think you would be able to stay here for that long. I'm going to be heading back to the village, of course. You're going to leave the 3 of us here by ourselves? I expect the 3 of you to behave while you're here. I will be staying in Konoha until the treaty is agreed to, and I'll come back when it's ready to be signed. After that I will be heading back to Suna. But what about the Ninja Academy? The 3 of you will be studying in the Konoha Ninja Academy until Gaara's condition is fully treated. Very well, father. Tamari. Chan, cheer up. Now we can all hang out together. Tamari gives Naruto a phony smile before turning to face her 2 siblings and giving them a lecture on appropriate behavior while they are in a foreign village. The lecture is primarily aimed at Konkaru. Naruto gives his father a brief smile before Rin drags him back toward the center of the training area and continues to nag him until he demonstrates the Rasengan for her. Well, Rin.Nay. Chan, it's not like I don't want to teach you, but I can't just teach you the technique for free, you know. Fine, what do you want? A trip to the ramen stand? Actually, if you can talk Kakashi Sensei into teaching me the Reikiri. No way, Kakashi replies, giving Naruto a hard blow to the head. But Kakashi.Ni, let me do the talking, Naruto.Kun. Oh Kakashi.Kun. What is it, Rin? If you don't want to see your little books disappear in a Kadenjutsu accident, you'll teach Naruto.Kun the Reikiri. Wait a minute now, Rin, that's not really playing fair. I want to learn the Rasengan. I don't care what I have to do to learn it. I can teach you that myself. Right, by showing me once and telling me to figure it out myself? Well, I suppose I can show it to Naruto, slowly. I want to see the hand seals. Fine, but let's find some place more private. The great Hitaki Kakashi, beaten by a kid, Asuma chuckles on the subject. I assure you that Naruto.Kun is very persuasive. I have an empty wallet to prove it, says Rin. Speaking of which, Hokage. Sensei, I want to be paid back for all the trips to the ramen stands Naruto.Kun took when we trained. Fine, fine. Just send me the bill and I'll submit it to the mission room. I swear this kid is going to empty Konoha's coffers through his stomach. It may be more economical to hire Tucci to be my family cook than to have Naruto visit his stand every day. You know, now that I think about it, that might not be such a bad idea. I'm going to talk to him after this. Do you mean it, old man? Naruto? How did you get back so quickly? All I need is to see the hand seals. I can figure out the rest by myself, and if I really need help, I'm sure Rin.Nay. Chan would be more than willing to teach me. Sure, as long as you hold to your part of the deal. Of course. I never break my promises. The Kumo.nin returned to his village to report the final agreement after the swiftly moving negotiations. Once Kumo approved the treaty, the Kumo.nin pledged that his village would send a real ambassador to formally sign the agreement. To invite the Kazekage, who had returned to his village after the Kumo.nin left Konoha, Konoha sends Suna a copy of the message a month later, stating that Kumo is sending a second delegation to formally sign the treaty. As Minato works through the mountains of paperwork in his office, he asks, "All right, Naruto, do you really think Kumo will try to kidnap Hinata?" "Yep. Right on the day of Hinata-chan's birthday. So how should we deal with this? I was kinda hoping you could give me one of your 3 prom kanais and help Ginko-chan and I get inside the Hyuga compound for Hinata-chan's birthday," Naruto says, touching the head of Ginko. "Ginko-chan and I can get the Kumo.nin, then you can use your Hiraishin to pick him up." "Naruto, cut it out, I'm not your pet. Aw, you let the girls do it." "Yes, but they don't try to break my neck with every strike." "Fine, back on topic. It might be difficult to get you in there. The Hyugas are rather reserved about those kinds of things." "I don't care. You help me get in there. I want to stay there for the night. That's when the Kumo.nin will strike." "Fine. I'll have a word with Heishi. I already told the guards at the compound to tell Heishi.G.san that you were looking for him. He should be here any moment now. Couldn't you have at least give me a little bit of time to plan how I should explain this to him? You're just going to delay it and nothing gets done in the end. How did you ever manage to become the Hokage with that attitude?" Tsunade. Chan wanted me to fulfill her brother and her boyfriend's dream for them. His assistant says, "Hokage. Sama, Heishi. Sama is here to speak with you, through the door. Send him in please." Ignoring Naruto's presence in the room, Heishi sits at the table and asks, "Hokage. Sama, I was told that you were looking for me?" "Yes, well you see, my son knows that your daughter's birthday is coming up, so, he wants to, come over to your house to celebrate with her that day?" "I see, if I may be so bold, what is the real reason? As the Hokage, you almost never speak in the manner you did unless you were very nervous." "He just wants me out of the way because I caused so much trouble to the last Kumo.nin they sent here," Naruto says as he kneels beside Ginko. "Yes, it was rather embarrassing really," Minato says, realizing his son's scheme. That and the fact that Hinata is Naruto's close friend make it an excuse if the delegates they send over want to see Naruto. "Very well. I will alert my clan that there will be a guest that day. I was hoping that, since I don't know how long the ceremonies will last, perhaps Naruto can stay there for the night? I can really do without his pranks while entertaining the delegates from Kumo and Suna." "Yes, Naruto's pranks are somewhat legendary in Konoha these days. I understand. I will have my servants prepare a guest room for him." "Arigato, Heishi.G.san. Oh, can I bring Ginko-chan with me?" "I don't see why not. It would appear that my daughter is rather fond of that fox herself." "You take that long to decide if you want me there and you barely thought about Ginko-chan. Ginko doesn't cause nearly as much trouble as you do Naruto. That's not fair Heishi.G.san. Regardless, if that is all Hokage. Sama." "Yes. That will be all. I will send Naruto over first thing that morning." "Very well, I shall take my leave now." A week later, Minato drops Naruto off at the Hyuga compound and gives him a signal flare and a 3 prom kanai before he goes to the gate to greet the Kumo delegate and the majority of Konoha's citizens. "Naruto, be careful all right. Don't worry. I have Ginko-chan with me. We should be more concerned about keeping the Kumo.nin away from the Hyugas. We need him alive. Do what you need to. You have my permission to use that level 2 Rasengan you've been working on. That should be strong enough to knock him out and weak enough to keep him alive." "Okay. I've been waiting for you to tell me that." The day goes on as usual, and nobody knows what's going to happen. Later that evening, Naruto uses the threat of an unforgettable prank if Heishi doesn't let him stay in Hinata's room to persuade him to do so. Naruto is unaware that Heishi would have consented even if he hadn't threatened him because he still believes that Minato and Naruto are plotting something that will involve his daughter. Heishi makes the decision to remain awake in order to witness Naruto's plans. He encounters the Kumo.nin who is sent to sign the treaty while trying to kidnap Hinata. With the Silver Fox's assistance, Naruto knocked the Kumo.nin unconscious before he could even move in. He observes from the sidelines as Naruto throws the signal flare and drives the 3 prom kanai into the ground. Minato and the Kazekage, as well as a number of nearby Hyuga clan members, arrive on the scene in a matter of seconds. "So, your info is correct after all Hokage. Sama. Kumo really is trying to kidnap Hyuga Hinata." "Yes. I hope that it isn't so Cage. Sama. After all, out 3 villages just signed the treaty. What do you intend to do now, Hokage? Sama. Heishi says, I would prefer if you execute him for his crimes, as he emerges from his hiding place. No, we need to make him admit his crimes first. I will have Morino and Mitarashi talk to him. Then I will send the confession to Kumo. Once you have obtained a confession, I shall vouch for its validity. Thank you, Cage. Sama. Making up an excuse that the Hyugas need time to sort things out, Minato takes Naruto and Ginkgo home after ordering several of his Anbu to transport the prisoner to the interrogation department. However, they return to the Hokage office rather than taking Naruto home. All right, we got the kidnapper. Now can you tell me what you are planning? It's only right that we demand reparation from Kumo, right? I suppose that would be a fair request. Yes, I want you to demand someone by the name of Ni Yugito. Ni Yugito. Why? Yugito. Shan is the Nibi Jinchuriki. I highly doubt they will hand over something so valuable. With the threat of Konoha and Suna retaliating, I think they'll give it careful consideration. It is still too weak from the last war, and Kiri has too much internal troubles to care about the other villages. Oh, so he does have a brain after all. Naruto remarks, Ginkgo. Shan, that wasn't very nice. Then mind telling me why did a 4-year-old decides charge a foreign Junin that can kill him with a flick of the finger? Hey, we got him in the end, didn't we? I got him. You're just lucky to still be alive. But my Rasengan knocked him out, which you are only able to hit him with because I have his entire attention. Okay. Quit arguing. I'll write the message. You two get some rest. It's been a long day, Minato responds. As promised by Naruto, the Raikage reluctantly accepted the conditions as soon as the confession and the Hokage's message reached Kumo. The 4 ninjas the Hokage sent, Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy, to deliver the message and guard the prisoner back to Konoha quickly detected the fake when some Kumo residents saw the Raikage's attempt to send another girl and have her pose as Yugito. Naruto's plan actually includes the squad visiting the civilians first in order to reveal that the Raikage nearly led Kumo into another conflict, turn the populace against the Raikage, and win support for Konoha's small demand in return for peace. Yugito. Shan, we should be arriving to Konoha in another hour, says Kurenai. Arigato. Yuhi.san. I understand that you miss your ville. I do not miss it, but I hate that village. I'm glad that I'm no longer living in Kumo. Don't worry, it'll all be better once you get to Konoha. I am here as a prisoner. The people of Konoha would only continue to look down on me. A boy leaps into the carriage and exclaims, Ahaya, Kurenai.ne. Shan, you must be Yugito, Shan, right? Yes, Yugito responds, utterly taken aback by Naruto's arrival. Naruto.kun. What are you doing all the way out here? Well, since a very important guest is coming to the village, it's only right that the Hokage sends someone to welcome the guest. And I assume that means that you nagged Hokage Sama into letting you come all the way out here by yourself. Naruto responds, Ginkgo. Shan is with me too, as the silver fox leaps into the carriage as well. Yugito looks at the fox for a few seconds before losing all consciousness. Kurenai watches bewildered, attempting to remain out of the way as the events play out naturally. While escorting the caravan back to Konoha, the other 3 ninjas are leaning in to listen for snippets of the conversation. A few seconds later, Yugito's hands shake and he tentatively extends them toward the fox. Ginkgo just approaches Yugito and stands next to him without waiting for his hand to reach her. She almost seems to be attempting to smell Ginkgo. What's happening? Kurenai ponders in her mind. Yugito turns to Naruto and looks at the boy while gently petting Ginkgo. Yugito leans in to look more closely, but she can't find what she's looking for. Hearing Naruto say, Kyuubi isn't sealed in me, everyone in the vicinity is startled. Then how? It's a long story. I'll tell you when we get to Konoha, okay, Yugito. Shan? Naruto replies with a grin. Oh. Kurenai.ne. Shan. Dad says that Yugito. Shan can live with me. But I thought Hokage Sama is already entertaining Cage. Sama's children. Don't worry, Kurenai.ne. Shan. The Namikaze mansion have plenty of space. Naruto responds before muttering, mainly because we don't have any servants and have to do everything by ourselves. Training for shinobi life my ass, he's just a cheapskate. You're just upset that Hokage Sama still haven't hired Tuchi.san to be the family cook, Naruto. He said he would ask Tuchi. Gigi. It's not fair, Kurenai.ne. Shan. I can understand Hokage Sama's hesitancy. After all, it's not very healthy to just eat ramen every meal. This. is the son of Hokage. Sama? As Yugito observes the others, she muses, he looks like an idiot, but this fox, he mentioned that Kyuubi isn't sealed in him. Could it be that Neko made a mistake? What does all of this mean? Kakashi says, Naruto, stop moving around, we're almost there, from outside. Alright, Naruto says before focusing on Yugito. What's wrong, Yugito? Chan? You're being incredibly silent. It's nothing. I just don't want to talk, that's all. Naruto yanks Yugito from the room as the team reports to the Hokage Tower, claiming he wants to introduce her to Gaara. Yugito observes that the villagers are all giving them strange looks as he runs down the street. They are not, however, looking at her maliciously. Rather, they are grinning at them in a way that makes it hard for her to stand beside Naruto without getting red in the face. After a while, the two pull up in front of a mansion where 3 kids are playing in the yard. Hey, I'm home. I brought along a new friend. Hey Naruto. So that's where you've been the whole morning, huh? That's right, Damari. Chan. My dad told me to receive our guest from Kumo, Naruto responds. Oh, that's right. Guys, this is Yugito. Chan. Yugito. Chan. These 3 are Tamari, Konkaru, and Gaara. They're Kazekage. Sama's children. I see, Yugito responds. Regardless, can you answer my question now? Yugito. Chan, Gaara, please come with me. A wall of sand pushes Konkaru back when he tries to accompany them. Naruto guides the two to his room while he laughs uneasily. When Naruto turns to Gaara for clarification after hearing Tamari yelling something about burning dolls on his way, he is met with a look that says, don't ask. Alright, take a seat while I check something out. Naruto turns back to the group and nods at Ginkgo, who is lying beside Yugito, after confirming that no one is watching them. Gaara and Yugito look at the fox in disbelief as Ginkgo says, I suppose we can start. I am sent by Kyuubi Sama to protect Naruto until he is strong enough to train with Kyuubi Sama, Ginkgo says. But why would a Biju be willing to train a human? I thought demons and humans want to have nothing to do with each other, Yugito says. That is technically true, but who says that Naruto is human? All 3 kids yell, what? Simultaneously. Gazing at the trio of kids, Ginkgo asks, why is that so surprising to all of you? Since when did I become a demon? Technically, you're only a Hanyu. As for when, you'll have to ask Kyuubi Sama yourself. Then how are you so sure that I'm a demon? Kyuubi Sama told me he chose you, did he not? That means that he has chosen you to be his successor. In order for you to succeed him, you have to be a demon. When he says that you're not ready, it means that you are not a complete demon. There are signs, it's just that you never pay any attention to them. For example, since Kyuubi Sama isn't sealed in you, how can you have this much chakra and the rapid healing ability? Yugito asks, Naruto.san, why do you seem so surprised? I've never heard anything about this either. Then perhaps we should leave while you sort out this problem, says Gaara. No, this involves both of you as well, Jinchuriki of Shukaku and Jinchuriki of Nekomata. You meanies, Nekomata, yet another Biju. Since neither of your seals are produced by any kami, Naruto and Kyuubi Sama should be able to separate you from your Biju if Naruto can actually learn how to control his demon chakra. But wouldn't they die if we do that? No, if you forcibly remove them, probably, but this ritual is fairly safe for Jinchurikis and Bijus as long as, like I said, that the seal isn't produced by any kami. Of course, there are side effects, but still. What do you mean side effects? Yugito asks, giving Ginkgo a fierce look. You will become heinous just like Naruto. As for whether you will become their successors or not, that depends on Ichibi Sama and Nibi Sama. I don't care about that. It's not like I don't get treated like a demon already. Don't worry, Yugito Chan. You'll be fine here. No one will treat you that way. Gaara asks, so what are we supposed to do to prepare? Just what you would do as ninja training. All you need is a healthy enough body to survive the extraction. Standard ninja training should be good enough. Good. I intend to become the strongest ninja in the entire world when I grow up anyway, Yugito replies. My father has already prepared me to become a ninja, says Gaara, though I might have a better chance to succeed here than in Suna. I can tell my dad to put the 3 of us on the same team when we grow up. We'll be the strongest team in history. Even stronger than the Sannin. Ginkgo places her head on Yugito's lap and says, that would require all of you to become ninjas first. I'm not worried about Yugito or Gaara, but you are a different story. Naruto remarks. Ginkgo Chan, you're so mean, a voice asks, are you 3 in there? What do you want, Dad? Naruto. It's nice that you three are becoming quick friends, but don't you think we should show Yugito her room first? Oh, that's right. Come on Yugito-chan. A few years have passed since Yugito's arrival in Konoha. With Naruto, Ginkgo, and Yondaimi's assistance, Gaara's seal has significantly stabilized over the past 2 years. The Cage sends a delegate to Suna to bring his children back, but only Kankuro consents to return when the news reaches Suna. Gaara wants to stay in Konoha so he can be there when Shukaku's body is finally taken from him, and Temari is already in her first year of the Ninja Academy. With consistent training, Naruto, Gaara, and Yugito's abilities have advanced significantly in line with Ginkgo's recommendations. The three will be attending the Ninja Academy in a few years, but even without utilizing their tenants' abilities, their skills have already attained genin level. Naruto, Ginkgo, Gaara, and Yugito are currently seated in the Hokage's office. All right Naruto, not that I don't appreciate you visiting me, but what is the real reason you four are sitting here? I've been meaning to ask Naruto the same thing. We should be training right now. Relax Yugito-chan. I know there has been a lot of missions for the village lately, so I figure we should come here and see who we want as our Junin instructor. Isn't that a bit early Naruto? You three still haven't entered the academy. Besides, there is no guarantee that the three of you will be placed on the same team. With a sly smile that makes Minato swallow, Naruto says, Dad, we will be placed on the same team, right? Of course. I don't see why you won't be. Minato's newest assistant Rin enters the office carrying yet another stack of documents and asks, Hokage. Sensei, why did you let Naruto-kun scare you into agreeing to something? Naruto can be very convincing when he wants to, Minato explains, covering his throat to conceal his embarrassment. Anyway, has any teams returned yet? He asks. Yes, Kakashi-kun's squad is waiting outside. Oh, send them in. Rin nods as she returns outside, and shortly after, Asuma, Kurenai, Guy, and Kakashi enter the office. Naruto can't help but laugh when he sees the grin on Guy's face and the frustrated expressions on the faces of the other three. This makes Guy start talking about youth again, and Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai turn to glare at the blonde boy. That is very nice Guy, however, I'm more interested in hearing about the mission. Hi. Hokage. Sama, Asuma interrupts, we managed to track down an assistant to the former daimyo of Yuki no Kuni. However, when we lead him to Koyuki Hime upon our return, Koyuki Hime has refused to leave with the assistant. They are currently waiting outside the office. Oh, please send them in. Greetings Hokage. Sama, Koyuki, who is 11 years old, says as she and a middle-aged man enter. My apologies for troubling you at this time Hokage. Sama. Excuse me, your name is, oh, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sandayu. Sandayu.san. I have heard of the predicament from my ninjas. How do you propose to resolve the problem? It is up to the princess to decide her future. It would seem that she has her mind set on remaining in Konoha and it would be my duty to honor her wishes. However, I would like to ask Hokage Sama to arrange a dwelling more appropriate than the simple apartment that the princess is residing in. But I thought Kakashi and Rin lives in a house. Koyuki Hime asked Rin if she could move out last year due to certain noises. So we found her an apartment near our house, Kakashi responds. I see, it would be highly unnerving for me to see the princess living by herself, and since she refused to allow me to live with her, I am hoping that Hokage Sama can find another place for Koyuki Hime. It's up to her to decide but, I suppose I can allow her to move into the Hokage mansion. Yugito and Temari are very good friends with Koyuki Hime so it should be appropriate. It would be great if I can live with Temari Chan and Yugito Chan. I suppose that is to your satisfaction as well? Of course. That is more than satisfactory. Well, then I guess this matter is settled. I would like to remain in Konoha as well, so if it's not too much trouble, would it be possible for me to move into Koyuki Hime's apartment? Asks Sandayu. Of course. It doesn't make much sense for us to leave it empty, since it's going to be rented out again anyway. I don't see why you can't live there. Thank you Hokage Sama. Now that everything has been resolved, Minato gives the order for all three of the children present to go to Koyuki's apartment and assist her in moving into the Hokage mansion. Minato watches as Naruto pulls Guy aside as everyone is leaving the office. Naruto.kun, is there something you want to tell me? Well, yes. Have you thought about adopting someone? I do not know if I would have the time, but adopting is the youthful thing to do, declares Naruto, who is well aware of the buttons to press in order to elicit the desired reaction. Of course. I shall adopt every orphan in the village. Why don't we just start with one first? Why, Naruto-kun, do you have someone in mind? Yes. You see, Gaara, Yugito, Chan, and I were playing yesterday and we spotted an orphanage. There is someone inside that tries so hard to become a ninja that I think your youthfulness will certainly help him on his quest. Naruto replies, attempting to keep up with guys. Naruto-kun, you must tell me where this orphanage is and what is that child's name. I don't know the exact name of the orphanage, but it's the one near the tower, and the boy's name is Rock Lee. Thank you, Naruto-kun. I shall go and adopt him now lest his enthusiasm of becoming a ninja dampens and he loses his youthfulness. As Guy flees, Naruto says, well, that takes care of that. Go ahead, I'll tell the others you'll join us later with good reasons, he says. The way you're changing everything, you won't know what will happen in the future now, Minato remarks as he approaches his son. That's the point. If what happened in my last lifetime happens again, it'll be too late to reverse the damage, says Naruto. Besides, I failed them last time. I'm not going to let that happen again. Anything I should know that will happen soon? You know someone by the name of Uchiha Itachi? Of course. He's the genius of the Uchiha clan. Does he have a good friend by the name of Uchiha Shisui? Yes. What are you trying to get at? Itachi will try to massacre the entire Uchiha clan with the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. The death of Uchiha Shisui will be the sign. I think you should try to protect Shisui instead of letting Itachi kill him. The Mangekyo Sharingan will be very difficult to deal with. I'll keep that in mind. You have something to do, go ahead. Oh, and when this is done, I want to take a trip out of town. Any particular reason? You'll see. I'll send Asuma and Kurenai to go with you. Okay. Well, I should get going. Kakashi and the others will wonder what's taking so long. Minato gives Asuma and Kurenai the task of going out with Naruto after assisting Koyuki and Sandayu with their relocation. Naruto hoped that no one else would notice him leaving. But when Gaara and Yugito learned about the trip, they insisted on going too. Naruto reluctantly consents to allow the two to accompany him, reasoning that their presence might be more advantageous. So how far away is this place we're going again? Yugito inquires. We should be almost there. The town should only be a couple of miles away. Another couple of miles. We've been traveling for 2 days already, Yugito yells. As the kids argue, Asuma murmurs, hey, Kurenai, is that town the one I think it is? I think so, but there must be a good reason why Hokage Sama wants us to go there. Naruto asks Yugito and Gaara to use the Henge no Jutsu to change into adults so they can blend in right before the group enters the town. Asuma and Kurenai were more shocked by Ginkgo's transformation into a tiny dog than they were by the kid's flawless use of the genjutsu. Asuma and Kurenai dismiss it as a kid. Made genjutsu and just follow the three kids into town, Naruto leading the way. Naruto asks himself, now where would she be? Where would who be Naruto-kun? Kurenai.ne. Chan. Do you know where is the most famous casino in the town? Don't you think you are a bit young to be gambling? This is important. Asuma.ni.san. It should be over this way. Asuma leads the group to pause in front of the town's biggest structure. Naruto enters with confidence, followed closely by Yugito and Gaara, before the two adults have a chance to ask any questions. Naruto looks around and calmly approaches a table that is occupied by a teenage girl and an elderly woman with gray hair. After giving him a quick glance, the two women went back to their own tasks. After a few rounds, the teen is trying her hardest to calm the elderly woman down while she is shaking with rage. All right, brat. What is the big idea of betting against me every round? There's no rule saying I can't do that, right? Why, you little, the adolescent girl says, please calm down, there's no need to draw so much attention on ourselves. You're right, let's go. I've had enough of this kid. Naruto stretches, gets up, and follows the two women out of the casino as the elderly woman gets up and leaves. The two women can see that Naruto's group is pursuing them by that point. The old woman drags the teenage girl around the corner as she runs up the street at a pace that is significantly faster than someone of her apparent age should be able to run. The group finds themselves in a deserted dead-end alley when they eventually catch up. Hey Ginkgo. Chan, Naruto says, turning to face the puppy. Fox, can you find them for me? Before giving in and attempting to detect the scent, Ginkgo bares her teeth and growls at Naruto in defiance. The two women emerge from behind them at the alleyway's entrance before Ginkgo can even become serious. So, who are you and why are the five of you following us? There you are, Tsunade. Chan. Kurenai inquires, Did you just call her Tsunade? Sama Naruto? No, he just called me an old lady. Well, you are, replies Yugito. If you kids are any better with your craft, you'd see that this is just a henge, Tsunade asserts. Oh, I can see through the henge just fine, Yugito grumbles, but that doesn't change the fact that you're still old. Yugito, be quiet, Tsunade. Sama is one of the strongest ninjas in history. Relax Asuma.ni.san. Besides, Yugito. Chan is right, it doesn't change the fact that she's still old. And since when do strong ninjas rely on henge no jutsu to avoid debt collectors? Debt collectors? You three kids should be grateful that the two older ones are wearing Konoha headbands, or else I would have attacked a long time ago. Let's go Shizune, I don't have time for this. What? Too busy to even listen to how I can help you pay off some of your debt, says Naruto. After saying, keep talking, Tsunade turns back to Naruto. Yugito. Chan, we made quite a killing at the table just now, didn't we? Good enough to quadruple what we walked in with. Get on with it, kid. You have some gambling tools on you, right? I have some dices, one roll, whoever has the highest total wins. If you win, you take the money. What if you win? You come back to Konoha with us. And I want to do that, why? Well, if that's the case, I made enough to pay 2 chunins for the B-ranked protection mission. It's a nice vacation, let's go home now. Tsunade mutters, I can't believe I let a kid blackmail me, after saying, wait, fine, you got a deal. Well, let's go then. Alright, you go first. Naruto rolls the dice after removing them from Tsunade's hands, and he receives 2 ones and 1 2. Tsunade grabs the dice from the floor and rolls 3 ones while laughing. The legendary sucker strikes again, Naruto exclaims as he collapses on the ground after laughing. That one doesn't count, this is the real one. Tsunade receives 1 5 and 2 6s when she rolls the dice once more. Naruto takes up the dice and rolls 3 6s, still trembling a little from laughter. Tsunade begins to shake with rage as she looks at the 3 dice in disbelief. Fine. You win. We'll go back to Konoha. Doesn't mean I have to stay there anyway. We have to go back to the hotel to pack. Let's go then. We have one more stop to make before going back Konoha. Kurenai turns to face Asuma and asks, one more stop? Following Naruto's group out of town, Tsunade and Shizune check out of the hotel. It is not long before Tsunade realizes where Naruto is taking them. You're not thinking about getting him, are you? Yeah, but I don't trust him around someone as pretty as Kurenai. Chan. So I wanted you to come along to keep him in line. Aren't you a bit young to be trying those lines on a girl, Naruto? What does Kurenai. Chan being pretty or not have to do with how old I am, Asuma.ni.san? You scared that Naruto might steal your girl away, Asuma, quips Tsunade. Asuma says, blushing, Shay, I don't know what you're talking about, and turns his head away. The group makes a stop at a well-known hot spring town approximately 2 days later, which is a day's drive from Konoha. Everyone except Naruto has reached the end of their patience by this point. Nobody, besides Naruto and Tsunade, understands why the group must travel so far and still cannot find a comfortable place to sleep in Konoha. When Naruto mentioned the town's unique attraction, Kurenai, Shizune, and Yugito briefly forgave him. However, when he informed them that they couldn't rest until they found their second target, their ire returned tenfold. Only after Tsunade assured them that it would be best for them did they start to relax a little. Yugito asks, so where should we go now that we're here? You all go and check in at that hotel. I'll go and start looking for my target, says Naruto. I'll go with you. I'll convince him to come to Konoha with us, Tsunade responds. You seem eager. If I'm going back there to suffer, I'm taking him with me, willingly or not. Alright, let's go Tsunade. Chan. Let's go and interrupt Ero. Sennin's research. Tsunade. Sama, perhaps I should go with you. No Shizune, you go with the others. Remember, you girls stay away from the hot springs until we come back. Oh, okay. Naruto responds, I never thought you'd be so eager to go back to Konoha Tsunade. Chan, after the others depart for the hotel. What? The quicker we find Ero. Sennin, the quicker we get out of town, the quicker we get back to Konoha. I guess the thrill of pounding that old buffoon to the ground outweighs the negatives. Hey, you call him an old buffoon but you won't admit that you're old yourself. Young man, I'll have you know that women are like fine wine, the more time they have to develop, the better they become. Yeah, and if you let them develop too long they turn into vinegar. I don't mind drinking wine, but vinegar? Blah. I'll have you know that vinegar happens to be very good for your body. It might be for you, but I ain't interested. Naruto's response causes Tsunade's eyebrow to twitch. She considers murdering the boy and stealing his money, but she knows that doing so would mean abandoning Shizune. Tsunade takes a few deep breaths to regain her composure before returning her focus to the young boy in front of her. Your name is Naruto, right? Are you Minato's kid? Yeah. How are your folks doing? I haven't seen those two brats ever since I left Konoha. My dad's the Hokage. I don't know much about my mom though. What? I've never seen her my entire life. I guess she didn't make it out of the maternity ward and my dad is not telling me cause he doesn't want me to be sad. Tsunade's eyebrow goes up in response to Naruto's statement. When she last recalls it, Kushina is a young woman in excellent health. Although there is always a chance that she will experience complications during childbirth or that her health will deteriorate, she believes the likelihood is quite low unless there was a lot of stress involved. Tell me kid, when's your birthday? Naruto responds, the day Kyuubi attacked, aware of the direction Tsunade's inquiry is taking. Well, that would explain the stress, but there is still a very slim chance of dying. I wonder which hot spring is Ero. Senin peeking in on. Did you just say he's peeking in on a hot spring? I thought you said he's researching? Tsunade asks, throwing out any preconceived notions about Kushina. Yeah, that's what he does for his research, it's for his books. Why that no good little, I knew he's a pervert and likes to take a peek every now and then but, just wait till I get my hands on him. As Tsunade stomps across the street with her hands moving in the manner of wrangling someone's neck, Naruto flinches. Fearing for Jiraiya's safety, Naruto rushes up beside Tsunade in the hopes of at least being there to prevent Jiraiya's death, even though he probably has little control over the lengthy hospital stay the elderly pervert will undoubtedly have to endure. The Senin is eventually discovered by the two sitting upright in a tree and laughing strangely. Tsunade lets out a low growl and uses one punch to topple the tree, shattering the trunk completely. Just by looking at the devastation, Jiraiya can tell exactly who is to blame for his fall, even as he is falling to the ground. When Tsunade says, "Hello Jiraiya," she cracks her knuckles. Hello Tsunade. Fancy seeing you here. The medic.nin just drags Naruto along and gives Jiraiya one of the most excruciating beatings of his life, even though Naruto has his arms around Tsunade's ankle. When Tsunade realizes why they are initially searching for the elderly pervert, she finally stops. Before pulling him in the direction of the hotel, Tsunade grabs him by the collar and gives Jiraiya a silent warning to keep from catching him again. When Jiraiya finally comes to, he asks, "Tsunade, what are you doing here?" "To drag you back to Konoha." "But Tsunade, you hate that place. Why would you want to go back there?" "That's none of your business. Beside, I would think you would want to see that student you are so proud of." "But I thought the brat, according to this kid, Minato is still alive and well." "I've been meaning to ask, who's the runt?" "My name is Namikaze Naruto, Ero, Senin." "What did you call me? You have no right to complain Jiraiya. Do you want me to teach another lesson?" No, it's okay." Jiraiya scrambles to his feet, dusts himself off, and motions for Tsunade to take the lead. Tsunade nods toward Naruto and tells him to follow, placing a hand on Jiraiya's shoulder to ensure he doesn't try to flee. It would be an understatement to say that Kurenai, Asuma, and Shizune are taken aback when Naruto's group shows up at the hotel. Asuma is preoccupied with all of Jiraiya's wounds, but Kurenai and Shizune are showing understanding when they think about why Naruto and Tsunade are denying them access to the hot springs. While hurrying alongside the Senin, Asuma exclaims, "Jiraiya, Sama, what happened to you?" With his arms folded behind his head, Naruto declares, "Tsunade. Chan happened to him," and leaves for his room. The group meets in the hotel lobby the following morning. Tsunade tends to Jiraiya's wounds after allowing him to endure his injuries overnight so they can return to Konoha. Shizune and Jiraiya appear taken aback by Tsunade's eagerness, but the others dismiss it, claiming that she simply wants this whole situation to be over. The group eventually arrives in front of Konoha's gates after another day of travel. Nearly the whole village is gathered around the gates to check if the rumors are true, suggesting that the people have already heard about the two Sanin's return. Naruto remarks, "Look at all the people. I didn't know you two are still so popular," clearly recalling that there weren't nearly as many people the previous time. "They must be avid readers of my works, as if anyone would want to read the garbage you write." Before the two Sanin argue, Asuma remarks, "It might be difficult to get through the crowd. Should we take to the roofs to avoid the crowd?" "No, let's just get this over with," Tsunade responds. "Better do this now than to have them stopping us in the streets at every turn." As the group wades through slowly, Naruto observes the crowd. A young girl about his age, with big, chocolate-colored eyes, is observing Tsunade with admiration out of the corner of his eye. Naruto can tell who she is just by looking at her hairstyle. Naruto tugs at Kurenai's arm, motions for the Chunin to bend closer, and then whispers something into her ears. Kurenai nods and walks away, leaving a group of bewildered ninjas in her wake. Naruto gestures for the group to continue moving while flashing them his naive smile, which only serves to heighten their suspicions. The group eventually reaches the Hokage Tower, where the young girl Naruto spotted and a bored Kurenai are waiting. When the girl sees Tsunade, her face lights up, and she rushes to her before Kurenai can intervene. The girl exclaims, "Tsunade! Sama, it's a pleasure to finally meet you." Tsunade asks, "Kurenai, who's this?" "I'm not quite sure. Naruto asked me to bring her here." The girl says, "Arigato Naruto, Sama," and bows to Naruto. "That's all right, Tenten-chan, and what did I tell you about calling me that?" Asuma asks, "Naruto, is she a friend of yours?" "Yeah, we met Tenten-chan while Gaara, Yugito-chan, and I were playing at the park one day. She told me one day when we were talking about becoming ninjas that her idol is Tsunade.ba-chan, ow." Tenten yells, "Don't call Tsunade Sama that," as she strikes Naruto once more. According to Yugito, there's the Tenten we know. As the adults observe the children interacting with one another, they cannot help but smile. Kurenai reminds the group that they still need to meet with the Hokage a few minutes later. Even though Tenten says she won't be permitted to be close to the Hokage, Naruto forces her to accompany the group to meet his father. Tenten is taken aback when Naruto merely waves to the assistant, allowing the entire group to enter the Hokage's office. Minato observes the individual surrounding his son and remarks, "Oh, Naruto, I see that you've returned. Jiraiya Sensei? Tsunade.ba-chan, Shizune? Minato, you little brat. You and your son are exactly the same." "I apologize, Tsunade.ba-chan," Minato says, protecting himself in case something goes wrong, "but it's nice to see all three of you." "You should thank this little brat for bringing us back," Tsunade remarks, causing Naruto's hair to stand up. Naruto strikes Tsunade's hands away and exclaims, "Hey, cut it out. Why don't you all wait outside?" Tsunade responds, "Jiraiya, Minato, and I have some things to discuss." The group slowly files out of the room, looking confusedly at the three adults. When Jiraiya and Minato return to the office, they see Tsunade's altered attitude and take it seriously. "Now, I want you to tell me exactly what happened 6 years ago." "6 years ago, that's when Kyuubi attacked, right?" replies Minato. "Yes. I want to know what happened." After a brief period of hesitation, which Jiraiya and Tsunade are aware of, Minato tells the two Sannin what transpired, omitting specifics about what transpired a few years later. "That's great, Minato, but what really happened?" Tsunade asks once more. "I'm more interested in what happened to Kushina." "Ah," Minato appears briefly happier before descending into sadness once more. "Kushina, of course, she was your favorite. She's still in the hospital," her words. "Naruto told me that he thinks she's dead. She's in a coma. Been that way since she gave birth to Naruto." Minato continues to avoid the gazes of the others. The doctor says that they don't know if she'll ever wake up, but every bit of emotional support helps. "I've been visiting her every day. Don't you think it would be better for Naruto to see her? I'm not even sure if she'll alive. I don't want to get Naruto's hopes up just to lose her. The doctors already said if not for the fact I've been visiting so often, she probably would have died already," says Minato. "Besides, she knows what I intended to do to Naruto. I'm not sure if she agrees with my decision. I don't know if she can accept it for Naruto to talk to her. It might worsen her condition." "Minato, don't be unreasonable. Naruto is her son. No matter if Naruto has the demon sealed in him or not, she'll still love him." "You're right. Well, now that you got that out of the way, I'll start asking my questions," Jiraiya responds. "So, did you ever figure out why things happened as it did when you tried the sealing?" I think it's best if you ask Naruto. It's not my story to tell." Jiraiya asks, "What is that supposed to mean?" Naruto wants to keep that a secret. I tend to agree with him. Tsunade is intrigued by the conversation and asks, "What does that little kid have to hide?" I can only say there's a lot more to the little kid than what meets the eyes. "Well, if I'm not going to get any more information, I think I'll visit Sarutobi, sensei." "You go ahead, Jiraiya. Tell Sarutobi sensei I said hi and that I'll drop by later," Tsunade responds. "Minato and I have to visit someone first. And I better not find you out of this village or peeking in on hot springs." While Tsunade glares at the Sennin, Jiraiya continues, "But Tsunade, wait, this isn't about the hot springs. It's just that, well, I don't think you should go see Kushina with your hemophobia and all. I've gotten over it. At least I think I did. I've been practicing the last 2 days after Naruto told me that he thinks Kushina is dead. Why would you? I think I would be quite well aware of my favorite apprentice's health conditions, Jiraiya. I find it highly improbable that she would die from childbirth. Actually, I am surprised that her condition is bad as what Minato said. I guess I gave the doctors more credit than they deserved. I'll have my hands full training them. Train them? Does that mean you will stay in Konoha? Minato inquires. I'm not going to leave Kushina like this. I guess I'll stay until she recovers. A few months have passed since Naruto brought the two Sannin back to life. Tsunade has been much more open with Naruto regarding Kushina's condition and everything he believes his son should know about his mother ever since he spoke with Minato. With Tsunade's assistance and Naruto's presence, Kushina's condition has also been steadily getting better. The two seasoned ninjas also witnessed firsthand how crafty the coveted young trio, especially their de facto leader Naruto, is in that brief time frame. In those 2 months, they had already persuaded Tsunade to give up drinking and gambling for a year, much to Shizune's delight, and Jiraiya to promise to stop peaking for a year, much to the delight of Konoha's Kunoichi residents. Given their level of fame, the two Sannin are unable to retract their statements, particularly since Naruto, Yugito, and Gaara felt it was appropriate to inform the entire village of the news. Rin, who was Shizune's best friend prior to Shizune leaving the village with Tsunade, was another apprentice that Naruto was able to force Tsunade to take on during that period. Tsunade is unaware that Naruto has more plans for her, but he knows he needs his mother's assistance because his father told him how close Tsunade is to Kushina. As has been the case for the past few weeks since Jiraiya was barred from the bathhouses, the trio is currently training in one of the training grounds under Jiraiya's observation, with Koyuki playing with Ginkgo on the side. Given that all of the children had at least a high genin rank prior to attending the academy, it would be an understatement to say that Jiraiya is astounded by their abilities. He is already aware of Gaara and Yugito's condition, but he has not yet figured out how Naruto can match them in chakra. This only adds to the mystery surrounding the young child because Naruto hasn't been completely honest with him or Tsunade about the story Minato told them. Alright, why don't the three of you take a break? Already? We aren't even tired yet. We just started warming up, Yugito responds. I would have thought you already know our training regimen after watching us for 2 weeks. To be fair, he was sleeping for most of those 2 weeks, Naruto-kun. Either that or we were training in a sandstorm I created. Well, we never know where we will be sent on a mission, so it's best to get used to all kinds of environment. That's thinking a bit too far ahead, aren't you, Naruto? You're not going to be traveling too far outside of Konoha unless the missions are C-ranked or above. You won't be getting those for a few years yet, Jiraiya responds. Don't underestimate us, Ero. Sennin, Gaara, Yugito, Chan and I can handle anything. In fact, I bet the three of us can defeat you in an all-out fight. Oh ho. You really think so, do you? What are you going to put on it? Double or nothing. If we win, we double your punishment. If you win, you're freed of your obligations. Now I'm really going to take this seriously. Jiraiya assumes his stance as Naruto and Yugito pass in front of Gaara. When Jiraiya signals for them to continue, the three children rush at him. Yugito enters from the left, and Naruto leaps to the side, attacking Jiraiya from the right. Jiraiya's hair begins to stretch as he goes through hand seals, and his ninpo, Harajuzu, covers his body. A second sand column thrusts forward, pushing Jiraiya back, and Gaara's sand wraps around their waists, pulling them back just before Naruto and Yugito leap straight into the spikes. Jiraiya's hair softens as the sand column collapses, but instead of shrinking back to its initial length, it grows longer and uses his Ranjashigami no Jutsu to wrap around all three children. The three disappear into the sand as Jiraiya is ready to request their surrender. Jiraiya feels a slight shift in the ground and jumps up to avoid the Doden Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu by Naruto before he can even wonder when the kids switch to Suna Bunshin. Jiraiya can't help but get a little cold from Naruto's smirk while they're in the air. Jiraiya begins sinking into a swamp from Naruto's Doden Yomanuma as soon as his feet touch the ground. Sand pillars begin to rise from the murky water surrounding the swamps and point upward. Jiraiya follows the needle, and as she looks up, she sees Yugito jumping over the swamp. After a lightning jutsu, the swamp and the pillars have long since vanished, and Jiraiya is unconscious on the ground. A voice from the entrance says, Jiraiya should have taken the spar seriously and heeded his own advice. Tsunade. Chan. What are you doing here? Minato is with Kushina, so I decided to give them some time alone. Shizune and Rin are at the hospital just in case something happens, Tsunade responds, I'll just revive the old pervert and let you explain to him how he lost. When Tsunade is finished, Jiraiya asks, where am I? You are still in the training ground, where you got your butt kicked. That's quite a genjutsu. I couldn't break out of it. It wasn't a genjutsu arrow. Senin. The pillars that Gaara created are called Saraishin. It takes Yugito's Raiden. Jion and pass the electricity to the ground like a lightning rod. However, in this case, since the pillars are in the middle of the swamp, it's passed into the swamp instead. Since water conducts electricity, it charged the entire swamp, with you in it. How did you come up with tactics like that? It's all Naruto. Kun's idea. He said we should come up with tactics that uses each of our strengths since we got Hokage. Sama to put us on the same team when we graduate. It was rather ingenious. I for one did not know my sand can be used as a lightning rod. I never thought you would have Earth Chakra affinity Naruto. I don't Tsunade. Chan. I have Wind Chakra affinity. Then how can you perform those Doden Jutsu so well? I'm the one that came up with the tactic, it won't do if I fail my part. So I practice a lot. Then why don't you try using Fuden Jutsu instead? I can't. Fuden. Daitopa and Fuden. Rankuden would just blow you away instead of holding you down. I could use Kanashibari no Jutsu and let the sand tower lead to your feet, but any skilled ninja can break out of that easily. Instead of suggesting for them to change, you should be grateful that the kids held back. If Yugito uses full power with her jutsu, you would have died from the electric shock. I still think Minato is overdoing it. Sure, the other clans teach their kids some simple techniques, but to teach kids that aren't in the academy yet techniques like Doden, Yomanuma, Raiden, Jion, Fuden, Daitopa, Fuden, Rankuden, and Kanashibari no Jutsu are a bit much. Tsunade concludes, let it go Jiraiya. It's not like it's doing any harm to the kids, but she finds it strange that they use such advanced techniques without showing the slightest sign of fatigue. Looks like I'm just in time to take you kids to lunch. Jiraiya. Sensei, Tsunade. Chan, do you two want to join us? No, I better get back to the hospital. I still have a lot of work I need to do. I just wanted to catch some fresh air. I'll pass. I promised Sarutobi, Sensei, that I'll have a drink with him. It's your loss. Tucci.g. Sans cooking is the best, Naruto says, giving his father a snarky look. Minato is doing a good job of ignoring the glare, if he notices it. If he was apprehensive before, he is now genuinely afraid to appoint Tucci as the family chef. Since Kushina is now in the care of renowned Slug Sanin, he is confident that she will recover. Though Kushina instilled in him early on that she would not permit her boyfriend to eat such unhealthy food for every meal of the day, he used to enjoy Tucci's cooking just as much as Naruto does. She actually once banned him from eating ramen for an entire month. Minato is certain that Kushina will have his head the moment she leaves that hospital bed if she ever discovers that Naruto inherited that trait from his father and that he is spoiling him without her consent. That is not a scenario he is looking forward to. Out of nowhere, a red signal flare is fired into the air from the village. Tsunade runs back to the village after taking one look at the flare. As everyone rushes to join Tsunade, Minato asks, Tsunade. Chan, what happened? Rin and Shizune are calling me back. Something major is happening. What exactly is happening? I don't know. I told them to use the flare if something happens and they can't handle it themselves. Someone throws a green signal flare into the air as the group is speaking. Tsunade's worried expression shifts to a joyful one, but she doesn't slow down. Minato, Naruto, I need you two to come to the hospital with me. Why? Is it about Kushina? I can't be sure yet since I'm not there, but I think you two should be there just in case. She has been showing signs for a few days now. I just haven't told you because I'm not sure if it's because she's starting to wake up or if it's just muscle spasms. When I gave Shizune and Rin the flares, I told them to use the red if it's an emergency, the green if it appears that Kushina is coming too. After saying, Jiraiya, Sensei, please take the three kids back to Minato's place. Naruto and I need to be at the hospital. Minato stops abruptly and says, Tsunade. Sama, please slow down. What are you doing, Minato? We need to be at the hospital now. I left behind a kunai in Kushina's room. We'll use my special technique. Shizune and Rin are pacing the room anxiously when the group with the Hiraishin no Jutsu arrives at the hospital room. Tsunade begins to check on Kushina's condition while forcing her apprentices to push Minato and Naruto outside. Tsunade leaves the room a short while later and motions for the two Namikaze to follow her inside. She's up, but she is still very weak. She should be resting and trying to build up energy right now, but she wants to see the two of you first. Minato yells, Kushina. Chan, and dashes to his wife's side. Okawa.san. Kushina whispers, Minato.kun, Naruto.kun, as Minato stops her attempt to reach out. Tsunade.ba. Chan, how much longer is Kushina going to stay in the hospital? Given how long she was out, another month at least, and that's with the help of medical ninjutsu, Tsunade states. But all the signs are good. She should be able to make a full recovery. Of course, that's not to say I recommend she rejoin the ranks of Konoha Nins once she recovers. Unfortunately, Tsunade.ba. Chan. No, it would be wise for you and your family to cease calling Ba. Chan. Tsunade says as Kushina lets out a weak smile that quickly morphs into a yawn. All right. She needs to rest, so everyone should leave. I'll be back tomorrow, Kushina. Chan. Me too, Okawa.san. Tsunade released Kushina from the hospital a few weeks ago, and she is now able to move around with the aid of a wheelchair. Kushina has been awake for a few months, and she is currently sitting in the training ground with Minato, watching their son train with his friends. How do you feel about Yugito? Chan, Minato.kun. What are you saying? Don't you think she's a nice girl? She is also quite close to Naruto.kun. Minato says, Kushina. Chan, I don't think we should get involved in this, already aware of his wife's intentions. It appears that Tamari, Chan and Koyuki, Chan also like Naruto.kun. I wonder whether any of them can repel the others as well as I did. And I wonder if Naruto can fight off the council as well as I did. My Naruto.kun hasn't been corrupted by Ero, Senin, has he? After saying, I've been paying special attention in keeping him from teaching Naruto anything inappropriate, Minato mutters to himself, not that it makes any difference. Minato.kun, what do you mean? Well, what? You mean that it won't have any impact? Minato points to Naruto and says, Hey Naruto, I have to go back to work. There's something you need to know about Naruto, Kushina. Chan. I think it's best if you hear it from him, though. Why don't you visit your mother for a while? While Yugito demonstrates a few self-defense techniques for Koyuki, Tamari begins training with Gaara, and Naruto nods his head and dashes to Kushina's side with Ginkgo. Naruto.kun, your father told me there is something I should know about you, but he won't tell me what it is and that I should ask you myself. He said that to you, huh? I'm not sure if I should tell you yet. You recently left the hospital. Give your mother a little more recognition. I'm all right. You and your father are hiding something from me, but what is it? After taking a deep breath and closing his eyes, Naruto tells Kushina a condensed version of what happened in his past life and how it affected his present life. When he is done, he looks up at Kushina to see how she is responding, but all he sees is a blank expression. Mom. Are you okay? That's a good one, Naruto.kun, Kushina remarks after a short while. How long did it take you and your father to think of that story? He told the truth. Kyuubi Sama himself told me the same story, Ginkgo explains. Kushina looks at the silver fox with wide eyes, putting her hands together to try to break the genjutsu she thinks she is trapped in. When she finally understands that the talking fox is real, she turns her shocked gaze to her son, who gives her a worried look in return. Kami, you weren't joking around, Kushina murmurs before glaring steelily, why I should kill all those villagers for doing that to you. Even though it's nice what you did for Hinata. Chan and Yugito. Chan. Naruto.kun. Kushina continues, softening her glare, I told Minato the people will never see you as the hero. So that's why you didn't want me to be a Jinchuriki. You're correct. Now, I don't think I heard anything about my future daughter.in.law, Kushina says, putting her arms around her son. I know it must have been difficult for you without Minato.kun or me. I never married. What? Why, I guess with everything about Akatsuki and Otto, I just never had the time to think about it. That cannot occur this time around. I will not permit it, nor will Minato.kun. Ginkgo says, it won't, while licking her paw. How did you find out about Ginkgo, Chan? You'll see in due time. The silver fox closes her eyes and puts her head on Kushina's lap while both Kushina and Naruto glare and huff at her, which causes someone behind them to laugh. Kushina and Naruto both look at Ginkgo in bewilderment. Sometimes you two act so much alike it's scary. He is my son Tsunade.ba. Chan, why do you call me that, little? Be respectful. I rescued you from a coma? The person standing next to Tsunade laughs again when Kushina and Naruto both stick their tongues out at her. And what are you laughing at, Ero? Senin. You little brat, why? I'm not even called that by your father. Well done, Naruto.kun. Ero, Senin, that's precisely who he is. Kushina, you're destroying Konoha's youth. Instead of encouraging them to speak to us the way he does, you ought to be teaching them to respect the elders. You deserve exactly what you get. Arrow. Senin. What did you call me? Tsunade. Ba. Chan. That's it. Let's leave here. Naruto. We don't want to interfere with their arguments. Naruto nods as he assists Kushina back into her wheelchair and wheels her away, signaling the others to follow. The training ground is reduced to rubble and splinters just seconds after the group leaves, and a few hours later, a stressed-out Shizune and Rin rush to the training ground to tend to the two injured Sannin. It takes Tsunade and Jiraiya a full week to fully recover and be discharged from the hospital, despite Shizune and Rin's assistance. During this time, Naruto discusses his plans for Tsunade with his mother, and Kushina is even more excited than her son to start the plan after hearing it. Tsunade. Ba. Chan. Ahaya. I'm here to get checked out. Oh, forget it, don't call me. Tsunade says, just sit down, Kushina. Where are Naruto and Minato? Minato. Is stuck at work and Naruto. Is playing with his friends after dropping me off here. Those two are aware that you still require at least one of them to go with you. I'm doing great, Tsunade. Ba. Chan. I'll be able to move around independently. I'm sending Rin with you when you leave. Oh, it's all right. Naruto. And his pals will come get me. All right. He appears to be old enough to understand what to do in the event of a crisis. Tsunade, who is Tsunade's helper for the day, notices the grin and starts to fidget because he has heard stories about and witnessed some of Minato and Kushina's famous mischief, most of which Naruto has already surpassed at his young age, much to his parents' pride. If Tsunade is paying attention to Kushina, she would notice that Kushina has a brief dark grin when Kushina tells her that Naruto would visit the hospital. As a result, she is blissfully unaware of what Kushina and Naruto have in store for her. You don't have to be so anxious, Shizune. It's merely a standard examination. Go. Gomen. Tsunade. Sama. What do you think of Naruto. Tsunade. Ba. Chan? That obnoxious young fool. I have no idea how to read him because he acts half his age at times and twice his age at others. Don't you wish you had your own child after seeing him and his friends? So I can be annoyed all day by a brat like that? Thank you, but no. In addition, I'm far too old to become a parent. However, if that's what you want, you shouldn't have any issues after your body fully recovers. That's good to know. So you're against having children? Kushina says, masking her displeasure with a feeble laugh. Whether or not you want one is irrelevant. First of all, I have no one with whom to conceive. 2. I am too old to have one, as I previously stated. You can always adopt one. I'm already spending too much time taking care of Shizune and Rin. I don't have time to look after a child. You can also enlist their assistance with the child. Additionally, you can always find one who is old enough to take good care of themselves if you adopt one. Kushina. What are you? You seem to be attempting to persuade me to have a child. What if I am? I'd say you're crazy. Stop being so pessimistic, Tsunade. Ba. Chan. Shizune. Chan would probably adore having a younger sibling, don't you think? Recalling what Naruto had told her about the plan, Kushina utters these words. Well, Shizune remarks, taken aback at being drawn into the dispute. Come on, Shizune. Chan, I see how you always look at Naruto. And his friends when they are playing. They just remind me of how I was when I was younger playing with Kakashi. Asuma. Genma. Rin. Chan, and Kurenai. Chan, that's all. So you're against having a sibling? Well, that's not exactly it either. So you do want one then? Well, Shizune stammers, her fingers flushed and twitching. All right, if you have any suggestions, Kushina, let's hear it, Tsunade responds. I heard that there is this little girl who simply idolizes you. This is all Naruto's idea, isn't it? Tsunade replies while staring at Kushina. If Shizune wants a sibling, then I don't mind taking one in, but I don't want someone who looks at me more like a hero than a mother. Ah, Tsunade. Ba. Chan, just give Chan a chance, Kushina responds. Are you referring to the friend of Naruto. The one we met on our first day here in Konoha? Shizune inquires. Yeah, that's the one she's talking about. In reality, Tsunade. Sama is a really pleasant girl. The poor girl is an orphan, which surprises me. So you think she's good? Knowing that she cannot defeat both women, Tsunade asks with a sigh. Yes, but the final decision is yours, of course, Tsunade. Sama. When Tsunade completes her checkup and leaves her office with Naruto waiting outside, Tenten sits next to him, swinging her leg in an attempt to understand why the boy brought her to the hospital. Kushina smirks, knowing that the battle is won, and she is still in awe of how well Naruto understands Tsunade. Of course, she has no reason to question the story Naruto told her, but it's amazing how well Naruto can read people and use that information to his advantage. Is everything alright, Okawa-san? Yes, the checkup went just fine. Tenten states, Konnichiwa, Kushina. Sama, Tsunade. Sama, while bowing. Tenten. Chan Ahaya. Kushina smiles and says, I think Tsunade. Sama and Shizune. Chan have something to talk to you about. Naruto.kun and I will just go home now. Naruto helps Kushina out of the hospital, grinning at his mother, and when they get home, Minato asks them why they're smiling. Naruto, are you certain that's such a smart idea? When Minato has heard the entire story, he asks. Obviously. Every time Kurenai Sensei took her son to the Hokage's office, Tsunade.ba. Chan would tell me how much she missed the times she spent watching Shizune grow up. Additionally, Tsunade.ba. Chan developed a strong affection for Tenten Chan during their time together. Yes, indeed. I'm still a little worried. I bet Tenten Chan can convince Tsunade.ba. Chan to stay in the village too, Naruto says as his dad speaks, and if Tsunade.ba. Chan is staying, she'll make sure Ero Senin won't be going anywhere either. Alright, that's that. Tomorrow, we'll have dinner with them to celebrate. Minato.kun, you sure changed your mind in a hurry, chuckles Kushina of the group. I'm powerless to stop it. Having Jiraiya Sensei and Tsunade.ba. Chan in Konoha would be very helpful. As long as Ero Senin doesn't go peeking in the hot springs. You mean the pervert hasn't quit that habit yet? He'll learn some lessons from Tsunade.ba. Chan. But Kushina Chan Kakashi.kun would be really disappointed if Jiraiya Sensei can't write his books. Give him the choice of having the books or having Rin Chan and let him decide. I don't think Rin really mind Kakashi reading them. Bet she doesn't feel the same about the possibility of Jiraiya peeking on her. Kurenai Sensei and Anko Sensei were able to temporarily stop him before he resumed his activities. He stopped entirely after Tsunade.ba. Chan passed away, though he didn't stay around for very long. Anko? You mean the pupil of Orochimaru? In an attempt to divert Naruto's attention, Minato asks. Yeah. It's good to know that the council finally pardoned her for doing nothing wrong at all. In addition, she made the decision to become a teacher. In reality, she never took a team. She simply occasionally shows up at Konoha 11's meetings and teaches us a few moves. 11 Konoha? Oh, I see. I didn't mention that nickname to you. The 4 teams that took part in the Chunin tournament for the first time during my year were given that name by the villagers. Aren't 4 teams supposed to make 12? Oh, they forgot Sasuke, didn't they? Yes. Everything was ultimately destroyed by that Teme. Naruto.kun, who are the other 10 individuals? Under Kakashi Sensei, Haruno Sakura. Chan and I are teammates with Sasuke. Teme. Under Asuma Sensei, Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino. Chan, and Akamichi Choji are all members of the same team. Under Kurenai Sensei, Aburame Shino, Hyuga Hinata. Chan, and Inuzuka Kiba are all on the same team. Guy Sensei has Hyuga Neji, Tenten Chan, and Rock Lee on the same team. Why would Neji ever be subordinated to Guy? According to Heishi and Hizashi, why would anyone let their child train under Guy? Asks Kushina, trembling. They don't have any say in team selections, you know that Kushina. Why allowed Guy to join a team, Sandame, Sama? He must have been persuaded by Guy. You'd do anything to stop him once he starts, Minato says, then turns to face Naruto. Hey, where's Naruto? Just a moment ago, he was here discussing the teams. Hold on, Minato.kun, do you smell that? Ah, he must have been hungry and wandered off to the kitchen. Minato.kun, I'm feeling a little peckish myself. Make lunch now. A few years have passed since Kushina's coma was broken. With Tenten at her side, Tsunade made the decision to remain in Konoha, as Naruto had foreseen, so compelling Jiraiya to do the same. Naruto, who is currently 8 years old, is demanding to be admitted to the Ninja Academy for the next term. Minato agrees to the demands even though he would prefer to keep Naruto back another year so he can spend more time with Kushina. This is because he has to admit Gaara to the academy this year, and he fears what kind of catastrophe Naruto will cause if Gaara is the only one permitted entry. Ginkgo sends Minato an urgent message urging him to go home while he is going through the papers at his office and informing Suna on Gaara's progress. Ignoring his new secretary's objections, Minato and Ginkgo head home, where they discover a man with short, fiery red hair sitting in the living room sipping tea and conversing with Kushina. Kushina. Chan, who's this? Oh, Minato-kun, you're home. This young man says that he's your old acquaintance. You let him in just because he says that? No, of course not, silly. Naruto-kun and Ginkgo. Chan says that you know him as well. Yes, it's been 4 years since we last met Hokage. 4 years, wait, you're, Kyuubi no Yuko, declares the young gentleman. 9 tails suddenly appear from the young man's back as his chakra starts to rise, with his trusted 3-pronged kunai in his hand. Minato instinctively pulls Kushina from her seat and uses his body to protect her. Disregarding the uncomfortable situation, Ginkgo passes Minato, approaches Kyuubi, and then, with a brief bow, nuzzles Kyuubi's leg. Kushina leaves the living room to deal with the inevitable Anbu after realizing that the Kyuubi poses no threat. Oi, you stupid fox, what do you think you're doing scaring my parents like that? Naruto shrieks as he descends steps, and hide your stupid tails. We need to find a cover story for when the Anbu gets here. Shay, you always want to spoil my fun kit, Kyuubi responds. Alright, Shukaku, Nekomata, stop cowering and get down here. Gaara and Yugito reluctantly make their way down the stairs. Gaara and Yugito are a little frightened, even if Kyuubi isn't looking at them, so they choose to hide behind Naruto. Kyuubi tells the 3 children, please sit down, we have some things to talk about. Kushina returns to the living room and asks, did I miss anything? Not at all. We're just getting started, Kyuubi responds. It's getting near the time when we extract Shukaku and Nekomata from these 2. In order to do that, we need the power of the Shinigami. Naruto wonders, why would we need the Shinigami? We need someone with the power to extract souls from a human body. I can't think of any other beings who can perform the job. But in order to do that, we need to use the Shiki Fujin, adds Minato. Yes. But with a sacrifice of soul, we can exchange it to spare yours. Shinigami should be happy to make that deal. After all, he can't be too happy about having his pet sealed in a human. You mean we need to offer someone as a sacrifice? I can't. Kyuubi pats Ginkgo's head and says, don't worry Lil Hokage. We have a spare soul handy for use. Naruto yells, you mean you're going to sacrifice Ginkgo, Chan? Heavens no, there is no way I'll offer her up. She still need to serve another purpose, I'll get to her next, Kyuubi responds. I'm talking about the spirit of the mad priest sealed in Gaara along with the Shukaku. I'm sure the Shinigami wanted to collect that overdue soul for a while now. I almost forgot about that. That's what made Shukaku so difficult to control in the first place. That's right kid. Now that you and your father managed to separate the 2, it makes things much easier for all of us. So when and where should we perform the ceremony? In a secluded area on the night of the new moon, Kyuubi asserts, the lack of light should hide our purpose well. This isn't something we want to do in broad daylight. That's a week away, but where should we host it? How about the Forest of Death? Before observing his son's irritated scowl, Minato remarks, how would you know about that god-awful? Right. Forgot about that. Anyway, the Forest of Death should be secluded enough. That takes care of one order of business. Now, the second topic at hand relates to your son. What do you want from me now, you stupid fox? Like I said 4 years ago, I have chosen you to be my successor. I'm certain Ginkgo already told you about how you're a Hanyu. Wait, Naruto. Kun's a Hanyu. Why didn't you tell me about that Minato? I don't know he's a Hanyu either, don't blame dad, it's not something that's easy to bring up so I didn't tell either one of you, Naruto responds, it's a side effect from how I got back here. You already made up your mind Kyuubi, so why bring it up now? Seeing that you're not exactly my kin, I have to have a good reason to hand my throne to you. Being trapped in me for that long still isn't a good enough reason? I never was trapped in you in this lifetime, therefore, there is no good reason for you to succeed me. What are you trying to get at? Ginkgo, do it. Ginkgo nods her head, gets to her feet, and gradually transforms into a young girl. When the metamorphosis is finished, a young girl wearing a glittering silver robe stands in front of everyone. She has silver hair that reaches her waist and pale complexion. Ginkgo. Chan. You never told me you can transform into a human, Naruto responds. I'm a kitsune. All kitsune has the ability to take the form resembling a human. The other demons can transform to a certain extent as well, but the weaker ones would have difficulty holding the form. And I can assure you that my daughter is a very powerful kitsune, nothing like the others. Ginkgo. Chan is your daughter? With an eye toward both Kyuubi and Ginkgo, Minato asks, you are not planning what I think you are planning, are you? You're going to force Naruto and Ginkgo to get married? That would make him my kin, wouldn't it? Kyuubi responds, I see no other method that would appease the other demons. If the demons start fighting each other for power, it can very well spill over to the human world. That is something that neither of us want to happen. But, that's enough Naruto, we can get back to this topic later, says Minato. Very well. We don't need to go into details for a few years yet. This brings me to last topic at hand. But first, I need to speak to Shukaku and Nekomata directly in private. Naruto glances to Yugito and Gaara to see how they respond. When Naruto notices their hesitation, he tries to persuade Kyuubi to allow him to participate in the discussion. Kyuubi first insists that the conversion be limited to the 3 Biju, but in the end, he gives in and allows Ginkgo to go with the 2 Jinchuriki. Gaara and Yugito, who are still worried, follow Kyuubi to one of the side rooms because they know that the Kyuubi won't be making any more compromises. After 15 minutes or so, the two of them return to the living room, almost exhausted by their chakras. Naruto has some food ready for the two because he understands how exhausting it can be for the host to let the Biju take complete control. As he and Ginkgo enter the living room, Kyuubi declares, I learned everything I needed to know. Now, following the ceremony, Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will be taking the 3 kids on a little training tour, just to let them acquire their new skills from being a Hanyu. Minato inquires, how long is this short trip? Depends on how quickly they learn. Conservative guess would be about a year. There is one thing I need to do before I can go with you, explains Naruto. Yes, the Uchiha. Wouldn't want that happening again, or else I'll have to personally make sure that his clan will die out before it's time just to save us the trouble this time around. Kyuubi responds, don't worry kid, whatever you have planned you'll have 3 Biju backing you up. I doubt the Shinigami will be so forgiving toward us this time around if the same thing happens again. You 3 together should be able to defeat Itachi. We should still have a few months before he attacks Shisui. The extractions should be done by then, adds Naruto. Prevent him from gaining the Mangekyo in the first place. It seems you did pick up some tactics from all the lessons I taught you after all. It's a nice idea, but did you consider what to do with him afterward? Attacking a fellow Konoha.nin is an act of treason. We can deal him however we want, Minato declares. You speak as though he will be sitting around waiting patiently for you to pass your judgment. So you're suggesting, that's right Hokage, if we do what your son suggests, we have to kill him on the spot. Of course, that would mean we have to take out Uchiha Shisui as well, least he feels responsible and he gains the Mangekyo. After that, since there will be no witness to what actually happened, those close to the two will want to take revenge by hitting out on people they think is responsible. If you're lucky, you might get away with a minor civil war and keep your position. Just preventing Shisui's death and letting Itachi get away is not an option either. Are you sure we can't just capture him alive? You do realize how difficult to capture someone alive as opposed to killing him in an all-out fight, right? Kyuubi responds, after all, Sasuke would never have been to get away from you at the Valley of the End if you didn't care about keeping him alive. What do you suggest then? Relax kid. I wonder how many Iwa.nin you have under your watch in your prison. Minato begins, but pauses suddenly. We still have a few that tried to assassinate several of our more prominent ninjas, I see. Now all we need is to set the whole thing up. I hate to lose 2 of my better ninjas like this, but it appears I have no choice. They aren't yours to have in the first place. If you allow things to progress as is, you're going to lose those 2 along with the rest of the Uchiha clan. Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will take out the trash along with them, so I only need you to hold the other ninjas back until we've finished the job. All I need to do is to send them out to take care of a few prisoners in secret, adds Minato. That's rather standard procedure for taking care of the more dangerous prisoners the other villages try to negotiate a release for. It seems we have covered everything. I will be back in 6 days. A week later, in the Forest of Death, a small group of people have gathered around a tiny fire. As soon as they were inside, Minato made a makeshift camp. Since Kyuubi has not yet arrived, Naruto is pacing back and forth while the others wait patiently. Sit down, Naruto, you're making me dizzy, Ginkgo replies, assuming her human shape once more. Where is your father? He should have returned yesterday. Chi-Chi. Yui will be here, don't worry, adds Ginkgo. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's already here. I'm nervous. What if things don't work out the way we planned it? Don't worry Yugito. Chan. If there's one thing the darn fox is good at, it's figuring out how Biju can escape from the host. He's been trying for a long time before, he knows what he's talking about. As he hangs upside down on a tree branch in his human form, Kyuubi asks, "Is that supposed to flatter me?" "You're right about him after all, Ginkgo-chan." Ginkgo exclaims, "He is my father Naruto," getting to his feet and sweeping away the dust. "Let's get started. I will stabilize Gaara's body with my chakra while you two do the same for Yugito. Your father will summon the Shinigami. To make things easier, Gaara, Yugito, you two should let Shukaku and Nekomata take over for now. Remember, once the Hokage summons the Shinigami, let me do all the talking." Gaara and Yugito nod their heads, close their eyes, and allow their demon chakra to gradually flood their bodies. Naruto recognizes the telltale sign that the Biju are in control when they open their eyes once more and signals his father to execute the Shiki Fujin. "So you have summoned me again. Perhaps you are desperate for me to capture your soul." "Excuse me, Shinigami-sama, but we have a task that only you can complete." "Kyuubi, it seems that you are already released from your prison. I suppose I can listen to your request, but don't expect me to let you off easy if I find your request a waste of my time." "Thank you, Shinigami-sama. We wish to release Shukaku and Nekomata from these two youngsters' body. We know that only Shinigami-sama can ensure the safety of both the children and the Biju." "Nekomata, sealed inside a human child. Very well, but what do you offer in exchange for saving the children's life?" "The spirit of a crazed priest is sealed in this young boy's body along with Shukaku. Is his soul enough in exchange?" "Hardly. If you offer my summoner's life as well, then perhaps I can reconsider." "No." Naruto yells, "Leave my father alone. If you want someone's life, then take mine instead." "Naruto, be quiet. I said let me do all the talking." "Silence, Kyuubi. If you are offering yourself, then I suppose you would have to do. Are you sure you are willing to die in place of your father?" "It's not like I haven't died before. Beside, I already told my dad everything major that happened in my past life. Kyuubi can fill in the details when my dad needs the information." "Very well," Shinigami says, extending his arm. Ginkgo yells, "No," and approaches Naruto, saying, "Why can't we just offer this Itachi person instead?" "Chi-Chi. Yui and you are trying to get rid of him, right?" "Foolish girl. A sacrifice must offer his own life willingly. But your target isn't willing. What about them?" "Listen carefully, little girl. I said the sacrifice, not the target." "Then take mine instead. Leave Naruto alone." Ginkgo yells, "Naruto still has a lot of important things he needs to do." "Ginkgo-chan, Gomen Naruto-san. I promised you and Kushina-san that you will have a wife in this lifetime, but it seems that I am unable to deliver on that promise myself." Before Kyuubi can say anything, the Shinigami reaches out to Naruto and Ginkgo as they are conversing. With one eye on Ginkgo, Naruto waits until the very last second before shoving Ginkgo aside so he can take the hit himself. But once more, the Shinigami reaches past him and into Yugito's body rather than through him. Naruto approaches Gaara, staring at the god of death with wide eyes, in case the Shinigami, after removing the two Biju, decides to steal the soul. The Shinigami extracts Nekomata's soul, plants it through a ground portal, then reaches out to Gaara and does the same with Shukaku. When he is done, the Shinigami reaches out to Gaara once more, extracts the shrieking priest's soul, and then eats him. The Shinigami looks at Kyuubi and points at him before pointing at Yugito and Gaara. When Kyuubi finally comprehends the Shinigami's orders, he screams out to Ginkgo and Naruto as he rushes toward Gaara and gives the little kid a small bit of his chakra, while the two give Yugito the same treatment. "You," the Shinigami says, pointing to Naruto, "still serves a purpose in this world. The care you two show toward each other convinced me that you could accomplish the task assigned to you. I shall allow you two to stay in this realm for now, but rest assured, if you should fail in your task, your punishment after your death shall be most painful." Two shapes gradually emerge from the ground portal as the Shinigami vanishes. One figure initially has the rough shape of a raccoon, while the other looks like a cat. However, they gradually change into a guy with brown hair who is around Kyuubi's height and a woman with black hair who is a few inches shorter. The man declares, "I'm finally out of that kid's body. Not that I'm complaining about being freed, but I am slightly concerned about the girl now that she no longer has my power to protect her," she continues. "I don't want to see her appearing in my domain anytime soon." "That's why you are going to teach her how to fend for herself, or did you forget my instructions already?" The woman responds, "Ah, Kyuubi-sama, it's nice to see you again." The man smirks and says, "Oi, you darn fox. About time you show your face again." "Do you still want to challenge me, you stupid raccoon?" Kyuubi answers, returning the smirk with one of his own. Excuse me, what do you want, you stupid human child?" the man yells. Why aren't Gaara and Yugito? Chan waking up. Do not be concerned about your friends, the woman says as she kneels beside Naruto. They are merely exhausted. They should be fine in the morning. You and your father should be honored. No one survives meeting with Shinigami. Sama once, yet both of you survived twice already. I wouldn't suggest tempting fate too often though, Shinigami. Sama is most generous for forgiving you two twice. As the woman nods, Naruto asks, I see, are you, Nekomata? And he's Shukaku. That's right, brat. Surprised to see us in this form? Not really. Ginkgo. Chan did say that powerful demons can take human forms. Ah yes, the kitsune brat. Never thought I'd see a kitsune grow so attached to a mere human. Be quiet, Shukaku. I for one think it's nice, the will those two showed in protecting each other. I never expected my daughter to grow a soft spot for him so quickly. They only spent 4 years with each other. Nekomata responds, only 4? My, that is quite fast. Naruto asks, 4 years is fast? Apparently you don't quite understand demons yet, young child. Nekomata continues. We demons have much longer lifespan than mere humans, in terms of thousands or even tens of thousands compared to your mere decades. 4 years to us is a very short period of time. Of course, on a few rare cases, I do see human love continuing in my realm. Your realm? I believe your kind calls it the underworld. It is the realm I stay in with my master Shinigami, Sama. No need to tell him everything. The fox will tell him in due time if he's planning what I think he's planning. I suppose you are correct, Shukaku. Did you find what you asked for Kyuubi, Sama? Kyuubi pulls out 2 little summoning contract scrolls and adds, I'll have them sign the contract when they wake up. Or, you can give it to them yourselves. Why are your summoning contracts so small? I've seen Arrow, Senon's frog summoning contract and Orochimaru's snake summoning contract, they're huge. We are not meant to be summoned, adds Ginkgo. Bakaneko, Tanuki, and Kitsune are all known to be shapeshifters. People would normally deem us too dangerous to summon. Not to mention the fact that we don't like to be summoned either. Of course, being shapeshifters also allows us to be more in tune with human behaviors. One reason that we tend to be more willing to work with people that we deem worthy, Nekomata explains. Perhaps we should continue this conversation back at the house, adds Minato. The 2 kids look like they can use a nice, soft bed. He's right. We've accomplished what we need to do here. Let's head back, Kyuubi responds. The following morning, with their bodies still weary from the previous night's events, Gaara and Yugito blearily leave their respective rooms. As they descend the stairs, they discover Kyuubi, Naruto's family, and 2 strangers seated in the dining room, all of whom are eating breakfast. With his back to the 2 children, Kyuubi declares, the 2 kids are finally up, without raising his gaze. Good, then we can get them to sign the contract, take care of who we need to take care of, and leave for training. Relax, Tanuki, can't you ever let someone have their meal in peace? If you eat everything in one go instead of playing with your food, you would have finished a long time ago like everyone else, Bakaneko. Would you two be quiet? Gaara and Yugito, Chan still haven't eaten anything yet. The boy has guts talking to us like that, I'll give him that much. Prior to turning to face Naruto, Ginkgo adds, Gomen Shukaku. Sama, you need to show Shukaku. Sama and Nekomata. Sama some respect, Naruto.san. Meh, I'm going to be the lord of all demons. I'll show them respect when they deserve it. Ginkgo blushes at the sound of Naruto's remarks and glances down in her lap, fidgeting with her fingers. A sign Naruto has seen a lot in his past life but still doesn't understand. Did you forget the stipulation that would make you the demon lord? Kyuubi inquires, or are you no longer fighting against it? Naruto asks, what? Utterly missing Kyuubi's tone of amusement. The thing between you and Ginkgo. Chan, Kushina says to her son, you're not planning on doing nothing after you've embarrassed the poor girl like this, are you? I never really given it much thought. I mean, I just found out she can morph into a human a few days ago. Ginkgo asks in a tone Naruto is familiar with, do you prefer that I stay in this form, Naruto.san? I don't know. I guess you should take whichever form you're comfortable with. Stay in this form, might as well get used to it. You'll be training in this form if you wish to help Naruto in whatever he needs to do. Hi Chi-Chi. Yui. When are you going to organize the assassination mission? The quicker we get that done, the quicker we can start the training, the quicker they can finish, and the quicker we can get back to our world. Impatient as always Shukaku, but I agree, I'm sure both Shukaku and I would like to go back to our realm to check on our underlings after being away for so long. I was waiting until you have recovered from the extraction. Shukaku remarks, I can assure you we most certainly have recovered, while showing off his muscularity. Very well. I will arrange for it to happen tonight. Secret execution grounds, 5 miles north of the village gate. It's hidden under a strong genjutsu, only Anbu would know its exact location. I'm sure the three of us can see through the illusions, Kyubi responds. There may be some chakra spikes. I'm sure you can convince the others that it's only from Itachi and Shisui's fight against the Iwa. Nins. There shouldn't be any problems there. Good, I guess Shukaku, Nekomata, and I will start getting ready. The two semi-conscious Iwa Nins are being led to the execution site by the two Uchiha later that evening. To prevent them from struggling, they have applied a powerful genjutsu to the two Iwa Nins. In an attempt to complete the task as soon as possible, Itachi and Shisui take off the katana that is attached on their back when they eventually arrive. Just as the two inmates roll out of the way of the sword attack, Kyubi, who is concealed in the shadow with Shukaku and Nekomata, cancels the genjutsu on the two Iwa Nins as soon as they enter the clearing. Each side delivered several blows during the several-minute-long battle. The two Iwa Nins were soon found dead in the clearing, Itachi and Shisui both suffering from many wounds. Shukaku has been gradually converting the ground surrounding the clearing into sand throughout the battle. When it is over, Itachi focuses on Shisui in an attempt to use the battle with the Iwa Nins as a pretext for Shisui's demise, but two walls of sand rise from the ground, engulfing the two Uchiha and crushing them both in a matter of seconds. Nekomata used her power to reanimate the two Iwa Nins to create a swamp to conceal the sand, build boulders to place on Itachi and Shisui's bodies to create a scene in which they are crushed by the boulders, and then release her control, allowing the two carcasses to fall to the ground as soon as the sand recedes and the two bodies are revealed. The three Biju leap from the tree, making sure that all of their prey are dead. The three Biju depart the clearing to report back to the Hokage, happy with their work. Sitting in his office with a bottle of sake on the desk in front of him, Minato wonders, is it over? Yeah. We made sure of it, Kyubi clarifies. Minato is writing a mission sheet and giving it to one of the messenger birds in the room. I'll send someone to pick up the bodies, she adds. When are you going to take the children on the training trip? As soon as possible. It's probably too late at night to let the kids know. We'll head out the day after tomorrow. Very well. Don't worry about the kids, they'll be just fine, adds Kyubi, and don't feel guilty about the Uchiha. It's not an easy decision, but it's the right decision. I sure hope so. Kushina and Minato are growing increasingly worried about the three young people who left the hamlet about 10 months ago. They haven't heard anything new about the kids, and Suna has been putting more and more pressure on Konoha to tell them where Gaara is. By claiming that the kids are on a covert training assignment, Minato has been putting off the inevitable, but he recently got a message from the Case Cage requesting that he bring the kids back and that the Case Cage will be coming to the hamlet in a week. Minato is currently pacing his office in an attempt to find a way out of this political catastrophe. He is on the verge of giving up when enormous waves of chakra envelop the entire town, but they vanish as swiftly as they appeared. Many ninjas congregate at the village gate, in the general vicinity of the chakra's origin, in alarm. They discover 4 tiny, veiled individuals moving toward the gate. The 3 figures that are concealed in the tree shadows are entirely overlooked by everyone who is concentrating on the 4 figures. Upon awakening from their daze, a few of the ninjas discover that the 4 figures have already passed them, heading for the Hokage Tower. Minato emerges in front of the figures and embraces one of them before the ninjas can stop them. Minato says, "Welcome home, children," and then she releases the figure. "It's good to be home, Dad." All of the ninjas in attendance are shocked to discover the 3 children who have been unexplainably absent for the last 10 months, together with a silver-haired young girl they have never seen before, when the figures take off their cloaks. "I'm glad that the 4 of you are back. The Case Cage is visiting in a week and he's demanding to see Gaara. I figured we can't keep this a secret for too long," Naruto replies, "Well, at least we got back in time." "Yes, and I bet Kushina will be thrilled to know that you 4 are back. Speaking of which, that was quite an impressive trick." That was just Kyubi Sama, Nibi Sama, and Ichibi Sama. Ginkgo continues, "They're hidden in the shadows." Naruto remarks, "That'll get some unwanted rumors going," as he turns to face the remaining ninjas huddled at the gate. "It would appear that way. I'm sure my father will catch wind of this display as well. We can use that to our advantage. Look at how strong you got after this secret training. Surely your father can't complain about the result," adds Naruto. "And I'm sure Kumo will regret giving up on me after hearing what just happened." "You do not need to be concerned. Shinigami Sama cannot be happy that the people of Kumo sealed Nekomata. Sama in you. They will feel the wrath of Shinigami. Sama eventually, adds Ginkgo. Let's go home. It's starting to feel weird having all these people staring at us, says Naruto. Yeah, you're right. Temari and Koyuki tackle Naruto to the ground as soon as they enter the room. The two ladies don't acknowledge the other two former Jinchuriki until Ginkgo almost rips them away from Naruto with a hoarse snarl. Gaara is furious that his sister chose another male over her own brother, even though he doesn't express it. Look, Minato-kun, our little boy is all grown up. You're right, Kushina-chan, he's turning into a heartbreaker. Mom. Dad. Don't be ridiculous. Minato-kun, we should invite Tsunade-ba. Chan and the others over for a welcome back feast tonight. That's a good idea, Kushina-chan. I bet they miss Naruto after not seeing him for so long. I'll send someone to tell them. Naruto creates a cage bunshin and sends him off, saying, I got it, Mom. I'm heading back to my room. Wake me up when they get here, okay? He asks. Temari and Koyuki fail to see that Ginkgo is following Naruto up to his room because they are too preoccupied with Gaara and Yugito. The two girls are still unaware of the handshake agreement between Naruto and Kyuubi regarding Ginkgo's destiny, even though they heard a portion of the narrative via Gaara and Yugito. They are also unaware of the existence of a second handshake deal, this one between Yugito and Ginkgo. Yugito claims she needs to rest and goes upstairs as Temari and Koyuki invite the two Jinchuriki to practice with them. Gaara is left with the two females. Rather of returning to her own room, Yugito enters Naruto's room, where Ginkgo is sitting on the floor observing Naruto, who is already lying in bed attempting to fall asleep. After a brief moment of eye contact between the two girls, Yugito uses a genjutsu on Naruto, instantly putting him to sleep. After that is over, Yugito and Ginkgo leap into bed with Naruto, one of them lying on either side of the youngster, hugging beside him. Kushina can't help but smile at what she sees when she enters her son's room that evening. With his arms wrapped around the shoulders of the two girls, Naruto remains in his bed. With their small hands gripping Naruto's shirt, the two girls are nestled against him. Kushina is unaware that her son is awake until Naruto turns his head in her direction. Now, I expected you to wait a few years before you go sleeping around with girls. They put me under a genjutsu then sneaked in bed with me. Well, if they did, how did you break out of it? When my cage bunshin dispelled, it generated an influx of chakra that helps me break out of the illusion. Well, let's wake up the two girls, everyone is waiting downstairs. You do it. I want to see their reaction. You are a mean child, Naruto. Before shutting his eyes and feigning sleep, Naruto gives her mother a wink. Naruto can't help but snicker as Kushina wakes Ginkgo and Yugito since the two girls immediately bolt upright, as seen by the abrupt loss of the pressure from their heads on his shoulders. The two females virtually jump off Naruto's bed and hide behind Kushina when he gives out a small moan. Reaching with his hand, Naruto pretends to roll over on his side and rub the sleep from his eyes. When he gently opens his eyes, he sees his mother grinning at him and informing him in a quiet voice that the girls still don't understand they've been duped. As the two females gently leave Naruto's room to tidy up and prepare for supper, Naruto sits up and smiles back at Kushina. Kushina remarks, "You should have seen how red those two's face got when I woke them up," as soon as the females exit the room. "Oh, I can just imagine," Naruto replies, mentally projecting a particular Hyuga's blush onto the female's face. "Well, anyway, everyone's here, so you should probably get ready." Everyone is gathered in the living room, laughing and chatting. By the time Naruto descends the stairs, everyone falls silent as Naruto enters the room, with the exception of Kushina's subtle snickering. Yugito, who is flushed, says, "Naruto's here, maybe we should start dinner." Ginkgo adds, "Yeah, I'm really hungry," with an expression that resembles Yugito's. Before he even walked into the room, Naruto knew what they were discussing without having to ask. Naruto agrees with the two girls and demands that supper start in order to save them from more humiliation. When everyone is seated, Tsunade talks to Kushina and takes several bottles of sake out of her pocket. Tenten takes one of her training kunai from her weapons pouch and shoots it at the bottles. Naruto intercepts the kunai with one of the unused chopsticks before it approaches close enough for Tsunade to respond. Naruto. "Sama. Why did you do that? Okawa-san shouldn't be drinking." "Come on, Tenten-chan. We're celebrating tonight. Let them have their small bit of fun," adds Naruto. "I guess Naruto-kun is right, Tenten. We should let Tsunade-sama have her fun tonight. She does have tomorrow off after all, so it's not like it's going to interfere with work." "You too, Shizune-ne-chan. Oh fine. Don't expect me to help you carry her home." Even though Tenten makes an effort to appear moral, she and the other kids, besides Naruto, are the first to get wasted when the adults allow them to sample a little amount of sake. Naruto abstains from drinking anything during the meal after witnessing the grown-ups substitute sake for the water. Naruto is left to take care of everyone since he is the only one awake at the end of the meal. He gathers Kage Bunshin in a mass and leads them all to their quarters before returning to his own, where he discovers Ginkgo waiting for him in his bed. Naruto. Sama, you're back. Ginkgo. Chan, I thought you're asleep. I'm sure you will find that I'm as adapted at pretending to be asleep as you are, Naruto. Sama. Ah, so you knew. Suddenly, Ginkgo says, Naruto. Sama, there is something I want to talk to you about. What is it, Ginkgo? Chan. You are going to be attending the academy in a few months. Do you believe I should go with you in my fox form or my human form? Well, I'm not sure. I prefer the fox form. That way, I can be on the same team with you even if Yugito and Gaara are on the same squad. No matter which form you take, everyone will think something is wrong when the other form is missing. I can create a Bunshin of myself, but I need to stay away from the Inuzuka. They will be able to trace my scent. Yeah, you're right. Their nose is a big problem. If you stay in the fox form, your Bunshin can stay near Koyuki. Hime and use her scent to cover yours, right? In a minor way, yes. I would also need your wallet. Why? Perfumes can cover my scent as well. Even weak perfumes can daze the Inuzuka if they try to enhance their sense of smell. But perfumes are pretty expensive, Chichi. Yui will not be too happy that you are refusing to buy me things. Go ask my parents. I don't have any money, complains Naruto. But Naruto. Sama, then it wouldn't be a gift from you. Naruto hears a few sniffles and responds, don't give me that look, Ginkgo. I'll talk to my parents tomorrow. Arigato, Naruto. Sama. Well, now that you've finally gotten that off your chest, Naruto responds, why did you let Yugito-chan sleep with us? Ginkgo tilts her head to the side and asks, you don't like it? Chichi. Yui said that all boys like to have more than one girlfriend and the more the better. Arg, he's as bad as Ero. Senin, says Naruto, not that I'm upset with the arrangements, I'm more concerned if you are all right with it. Why wouldn't I be? It's not all that uncommon for demons to have multiple mates. Well, if you're sure, so, you're not upset? No, not really. Naruto. Sama no Eki. You call Chichi. Yui a pervert, but you're just as bad, giggling Ginkgo. Do you wish for me to arrange for Tamari-san and Koyuki-san to stay with us as well? What? No. You can't just go about asking people to join like that. But they seem like they want to join when Kushina Sama told everyone what happened when she woke Yugito-san and I up. You're kidding, right, Ginkgo-chan? No, I think they were really interested. That can't be right, they didn't show any interest in me before. But you changed a lot of things in this life already, right, Naruto-sama? But I didn't mean for it to change like that. Ginkgo crawls beneath the cover and leans against her pillow, yawning. Ginkgo reaches out and drags Naruto into bed with her after noticing that he is still standing close to the bed. It doesn't really matter whether you intend for it to happen or not, Ginkgo asserts. This is the way things are happening, you'll just have to deal with it. The question is how to deal with it. I'm sure you can figure something out, Ginkgo responds. Now stop moving around and go to sleep. As the week comes to a conclusion, the Cage has learned about Gaara's show of strength. The Cage requests that Gaara accompany him back to Suna as soon as he gets to Konoha. But all Gaara has to do to win over Tamari and Kankaru is mention the name Yashimaru. Naruto and Yugito must intervene as the Cage tries to make Gaara back in order to stop him from killing his own father with his sand. The Cage reluctantly consents to let Gaara enter the academy in Konoha after realizing that he is outnumbered there, but he secretly swears to himself that he will use every chance to drive Gaara back to Suna. Gaara's father won't let things go this easily, Naruto remarks when he and his father are the only people left in the Hokage's office. We should keep an eye out on Suna. Suna is our ally, and Suna is also very angry with us right now, Naruto states, cutting off his dad. Just because Gaara is living in Konoha now doesn't mean that Orochimaru won't contact Suna for a joint attack when the time comes. Minato sighs and continues, there are moments when I'm not sure if I should call you a genius or an idiot. I'm not known as the #1 unpredictable ninja for nothing. Well, we can't do anything about it now. I'll just ask Jiraiya-sensei to use his spy network to keep an eye out on Suna, Minato adds, as he gathers a number of, well, these are the papers admitting you kids to the Ninja Academy. I just have to figure out how to enter Ginkgo. She and I talked about this before. She says she'll stay in her fox form through the academy. She wants to be on the same team as Gaara, Yugito, Chan, and I. That would make things a lot easier. I don't need to come up with an excuse to cover her identity, although I should probably come up with one just in case people start asking about her human form. You can just say that she's the daughter of an old acquaintance of yours that he's leaving in your hands. I suppose that would have to do, Minato responds. Shouldn't you be playing with your friends right now? I just want to think some things through, that's all. What's the problem? Remember that day when Gaara, Yugito, Chan, and I came back? Mom probably told everyone what she found in my bedroom. Later that night Ginkgo Chan told me that Tamari, Chan and Koyuki Haim might feel that way as well. I told Kushina, Chan, you'll turn into a heartbreaker. Dad, focus on the task at hand. Sure son. What's the problem with having a few girlfriends? What's the problem? I feel bad enough that I'm making Ginkgo Chan and Yugito Chan share me. I can't possibly ask more girls to do the same thing. Well, there is something you should know, Naruto. When I became the Hokage, the council wanted me to take multiple wives to ensure that the Namikaze line continues. Of course I was able to fight them off long enough for Kushina Chan to be pregnant, so they can't keep pushing that idea on me. But Kushina Chan and I aren't getting any younger, and I don't know if Kushina Chan can handle another pregnancy despite what Tsunade.ba Chan says. The council might try to push the same idea on you, especially since they consider you the hero that chased away the Kyuubi. Why not take advantage of it and take all 4 of them as your wives? But that doesn't solve the problem of me feeling guilty about having them share me. Did you consider that maybe they won't care? Minato responds. I can tell you that many of the women offering themselves to me back then didn't mind the idea of sharing one bit. But those 4 girls aren't gold diggers like those women who offered themselves to you. You can always sit them down and talk to them to see how they feel, Naruto. Do you think it's easy to approach that subject? I can't just go up and ask them if they love me and do they want to share. Alright, let me just get through these paperwork and we'll head home and talk to Kushina Chan. We can have her talk to the girls. It should be easier for her to broach the subject. I guess that'll have to do. Now that that problem is solved, I'll just have to get through these couple of piles. Why don't you ever use Kage Bunshin to help you do the paperwork? Kage Bunshin? Minato asks abruptly. Why didn't any of the Hokage think of that idea before? Arg, you'd think someone with the title, the professor, would be able to come up with that idea. Maybe he wants you to figure it out on your own and suffer on the way there like he did. Minato makes 5 Kage Bunshin and tells them to begin working on the paperwork while he and Naruto go home, muttering about self-centered old guys. She adds another name to the mix after discussing the matter with Kushina. What do you mean Tenten? Chan likes me too. She's supposed to like Neji. Kushina remarks. Well, she hasn't met Neji yet, has she? But, too late to change that now. I'd bet she's already heads over heels in love with you, Kushina responds. There has gotta be some way to change that, right? All I wanted to do was to make Tsunade.ba Chan adopt Tenten Chan. I didn't think she would fall in love with me because of it. Like I said, too late to change that now. I'll have a sit down with all of them when I get the chance. But I don't even know how I feel about them. It's not a bad thing to have that many people love you, Naruto. But it's not fair to them that Naruto, don't worry about it. Just let things come as they will, says Minato. Don't change how you were because you're worried how things would turn out. Remember what I told you in the office, Naruto. I think that might be the best course of action. But don't worry, Naruto, Kushina responds. You wouldn't believe how many love letters your father got back in the days. According to Minato, hey, it's not that long ago. Be quiet. I'm talking to Naruto, Kushina responds. Like I was saying, your father received plenty of love letters, and I wasn't angry at him at all. I'll talk to the girls and make them understand the situation. If they can't handle it, then I'll suggest for them to back off. If they can, why don't you give it a try? All right, Naruto responds, before muttering to himself, I need to be more cautious going forward. What did I tell you about letting things come naturally, Naruto? Replies Minato. What's so natural about having this many girlfriends? It's good to know that Ero Sennin hasn't corrupted you yet, Naruto, Kushina responds. But Minato-kun is right. Don't let this change who you are. Besides, it's perfectly natural for girls to be fawning all over us, Naruto. It's a curse that we Namikaze must bear. Kushina smiles as she looks at Minato. Minato would note that the smile appears a little strange if he were paying attention, as Naruto is. With each step, Kushina twists Minato's ear as he pulls him upstairs, causing the Hokage to scream in agony as they make their way back to their room. After an especially taxing training session with his father the following day, Naruto staggers back to his room to discover it is deserted. His mother is leaning against the door frame, grinning at him as he looks back toward the door. Naruto sighs and asks, "What happened to my room, Mom?" "This isn't your room, dear." Naruto, growing weary with the conversation, says again, "What do you mean this isn't my room?" "This was your room yesterday, but since Tsunade.Ba-chan says that she's moving in, your father and I decide to give her this room." "So where is my room now?" "Down the hall, the second master bedroom." Awakened by the news, Naruto wonders, what am I going to do with a huge room like that? "Well, you are the second master of this house. Beside, you'll find enough use for it soon enough," Kushina responds. "Now why don't you go take a shower and get changed like your father? I'll call the two of you downstairs when dinner's ready." Naruto says, "All right, Mom," as he passes Kushina and proceeds down the hallway. "And I expect you to help Tsunade.Ba-chan move her things over tomorrow," Kushina calls after her son. After saying, "Fine," Naruto enters his room. The ridiculously big bed against the wall across from the entrance is the first thing Naruto sees when he walks into his new room. Then, over to his left, he sees the many closets line the walls. He picks up the clean change of clothes from his bed and goes to his room's private bathroom without giving it any thought. After 30 minutes, Kushina is outside the restroom, banging on the door. "What are you doing in there? Hurry up, dinner's ready." Naruto opens the door and says, all right. I've never seen a private bath that big. I bet I can swim in it." "For now you can. It's really only designed to fit 2 adults comfortably," Kushina continues. "Remind me to get a bigger one for you later." With a bewildered expression on his face, Naruto stealthily follows his mother downstairs, where the rest of the household is gathered around the dinner table, anxiously awaiting the final guest. After dinner, Kushina forces Naruto to stay behind to do the dishwashing as retribution for keeping everyone waiting. Naruto feels rejuvenated after the bath, but by the time he drags himself upstairs, he is exhausted. He stumbles into his new room, opens the door, and looks about before returning to the corridor to make sure he's in the correct room after staggering in and out of his old one. From inside the room, Ginkgo says, "What's wrong, Naruto? Sama? What are you girls doing here? This is our room, at least, Kushina." Sama says so, Yugito responds. "And after our talk with Kushina, Sama, I think she's right," Tamari responds. Koyuki approaches Naruto from behind and puts her arms around his waist, saying, "Why don't you come in and join us? I think there is going to be another person moving into this room tomorrow." Koyuki kicks the door shut after pushing Naruto into the room and then shoves him into bed. The girls all squeal as they get into Naruto's bed and vie for the position next to him so they may cuddle up to him. Naruto sighs and waits for the girls to settle down before attempting to fall asleep. Minato permits the 3 former Jinchuriki to enroll as second-year students in order to make up the year they missed because of their training with the 3 Biju when they are eventually prepared to do so. Naturally, few could object after witnessing their purported abilities in action upon returning from their training if Minato had asked for the kids to be promoted to genin. However, Naruto personally asked to be assigned to that specific group so that he could watch them. The teachers are still in shock that the 3 who demonstrated such strength are waiting to be introduced to the other students outside their classroom, despite being informed that Naruto, Gaara, and Yugito will be attending a month before the school year begins. Iruka says, "Please come in," and opens the door. When the 3 enter the room, the entire class falls silent, and all eyes, including Iruka's, Suzume's, and Mizuki's, are fixed on Naruto, Gaara, and Yugito. Following a brief introduction, they sit across an empty row from Ginkgo, who has already arrived unobserved because everyone's focus is on the 3 newcomers. As the 3 teachers start the session, everyone in the room is focused on them, but Ginkgo scans the classroom, observing everyone Naruto requested her to watch. Ginkgo observes that anytime the teachers aren't looking, Hinata keeps stealing glances at Naruto throughout the entire lesson. When Ginkgo reports to Naruto once the classes are complete, she keeps this knowledge to herself since she believes that Naruto probably doesn't want to hear about stuff like that. Naruto. Sama, please wait. Naruto asks, Hinata-chan, what's wrong? My father told me to accompany you back to the Namikaze compound since Hokage. Sama invited us over for dinner, Hinata replies with a grin. Okay. Come on. Let's go Hinata-chan. Wait Naruto.kun. Shouldn't we wait for Tenten-chan too? Yugito responds. You're right. I'm completely forgot. Tenten approaches Naruto from behind and pretends to tear a few times before asking, how can you forget about me? You really aren't fooling anyone with that, Tenten-chan. You're so mean Naruto.kun. Sorry Tenten-chan. Chan, you ready to go home now? Fine. Only because we have important guests over tonight, Tenten responds. You're going to make it up to me, mister. Don't worry, Tenten. Chan, I promise I'll make it up to you. Naruto approaches Tenten, gives her a brief embrace, then circles back and shoves her out of the academy's courtyard. Yugito giggles as he pursues them, followed closely by Gaara and Ginkgo. Shortly after, Hinata jolts out of her daze and rushes after the gang, who are at the exit and staring back at the immobilized girl. Hinata silently follows the group as they head to the Namikaze compound while muttering a gentle apology. As the group enters the house, Kushina exclaims, "Ah, here are the children. I hope you all had fun today," he says. "It's fine outside the history lessons. I already know the village's history like the back of my hand. Since I was an outsider, I supposed it was interesting to know about Konoha's history," Yugito explains. Gaara responds, "Agreed," as he passes the throng of people gathered at the door. Naruto asks, looking into the empty living room, "So where is everyone?" Minato.kun and Heishi.san are discussing something in the study. The ladies should be in the yard enjoying the evening breeze. I'm just here fixing up some small snacks waiting for all of you to get home. Gaara adds, "I should start on my assignments. I'll be in my room," and then she leaves. Tenten declares, "I'm going to put away my things." Kushina. Sama, there's no need to be so nervous, dear. Just treat this like your own home. Hinata explains, Hi Kushina. Sama is my mother and sister. They are in the yard, dear. Thank you, Kushina. Sama, Hinata responds, Would you like to meet my little sister Naruto? Sama? That'd be great, Hinata. Chan, Yugito asks, but Naruto.kun, what about our assignments? We still have the whole night, Yugito. Chan. Let's relax a bit first. Besides, we don't have all that much assignments anyway. Well, if you promise you'd help me, I guess a bit of fun can't hurt. Naruto grabs Yugito's and Hinata's wrists and drags them out into the backyard. Despite the small pain from the abrupt tug, Hinata lets Naruto lead her, blushing at the contact. Hinata's blush spreads to her entire body in the short distance between the foyer and the backyard, and by the time she reaches her objective, she appears to have just emerged from a hot spring. Looking at Hinata's wrist, which Naruto is still clutching, a young girl asks, Hinata.ne. Sama, who's this? Ah, Hanabi. Chan. This is Naruto. Sama. With her gaze fixed on Hinata's wrist, Hanabi replies, Naruto. Sama? Who is that? Naruto. Sama is the one that saved me from the mean kidnapper. Hanabi points to Hinata's wrist and says, Who is he? How come he can hold your hand? After saying, sorry about that, Hinata. Chan, Naruto instantly lets go. It's all right, Naruto. Sama, no it's not. Chi-Chi. Yui never let anyone hold our hand like that. Hanabi responds. I'm telling Chi-Chi. Yui. Hanabi. Chan, it's all right, a tall woman responds. Your father only said that because he doesn't trust the others. You can trust Naruto.kun though. Are you sure, haha? Yui? Of course. I would never lie to you, Hanabi. Chan. Naruto glances at the mother of Hanabi and Hinata. She possesses the Hyuga's characteristically pale skin and eyes. If he had to guess, she would be accurate in estimating Hiashi's height, no more than an inch. When her jacket is off, her small physique and long hair resemble Hinata's adult form, but her calloused hands and toned muscles reveal that she is a highly skilled kunoichi in her own right. In his past life, he had never laid eyes on Hinata's mother, and from what he knows about the girl, neither Hinata nor Hanabi had spoken of her. When Tsunade comes into the yard with Kushina carrying a bowl of stench-filled medication and handing it to Hinata's mother, his inquiries are addressed. You're lucky I had the experience from treating Kushina Shiori, adds Tsunade. You of all people should know that you should stay calm when you're pregnant. Look at the mess you left yourself with. I couldn't help it, Tsunade. Sama, I was so worried when I heard that Hinata-chan was almost kidnapped, Shiori responds. Speaking of which, allow me to thank you for saving Hinata-chan. Naruto. Sama. Taking her name from Tsunade, Naruto responds, That's all right, Shiori.san, adding, I can't just stand by and watch my friends get hurt. There was one other problem, one thing, other than the actual kidnapping, that made me a bit nervous. Tsunade laughs and asks, From what the guards told me you were ballistic, are you nervous? Please, Tsunade. Sama, I need to get this off my chest, Shiori responds. What are your intentions with my daughter Naruto? Sama. Hinata yells, Okawa.san, what are you talking about? I don't quite understand what you mean, Shiori.san. The Hyuga is a very traditional family, a voice behind the others says. Despite your intentions, the fact remains that you spent the night in my daughter's room, Naruto. Naruto turns to face the man and says, but Heishi-san, you said it was all right. In addition, I didn't really stay there overnight. I left with my dad after the kidnapper was caught. While those statements are indeed accurate, Heishi continues, the entire Hyuga clan knows that you stayed in Hinata's room that night. While I understand that nothing could have possibly happened, the elders are quite adamant that you bear responsibility. Looking at the other females gathered in the yard, Minato remarks, well, I just told him about your situation. Heishi-san told me that he and Shiori-san would need to re-examine the situation before making a decision on how to proceed. Tsunade says to Kushina, this kid works fast, doesn't he? Jiraiya is going to have a field day with it if he hears about it. I never did quite realize how popular Naruto is. Is this what I faced when Minato-kun picked me? I'd say it's not even close, considering how Minato has a few more years to attract other girls. Yeah, you're probably right, Tsunade-chan. After a minute of her body stiffening, Tsunade complains that the sun is terrible for her skin and goes back inside. Shizune emerges and declares that dinner is ready as Tsunade is about to return inside. That evening, Naruto and Minato are sitting in the study discussing everything that transpired that day after the Hyugas have left and everyone else has returned to their room. Minato asks, so what do you think, Naruto? Like it matters? Guess not. But I still want to know how you feel about everything so far. It's completely different than my last life, but Ginko-chan is right. I did want things to be different. She does have a point. You did say the same thing when you got Guy to adopt Lee, Minato responds. Besides, you can't complain about all those girls. If mom hears that, she'll beat you to a pulp. Yeah, but that's why I didn't say that in front of her. I'm reserving the rights to tell her what you said, Naruto responds. Anyways, what do you think Heishi is up to? He's not the one up to something. The Hyuga elders are the one pushing him to talk to us. He said it to me in private himself. If you aren't my son, he doubts the elders would say anything about it, and I agree with his assessments. So why did you agree? We still need the Hyuga clan on our side. Only they are large enough to balance out the Uchiha clan, adds Minato. I know you already took care of Itachi, but we always need to be weary of large clans like the Uchiha and the Hyuga that their power don't get to their heads. I guess you're right. How would you deal with them if you're in my position? Me? Keep the younger ones away from the adults and get the younger ones on my side. Two traditional tactics, a voice at the door says, but I prefer Naruto-sama's scheme. Naruto asks, Ginko-chan, you're still up? All the other girls are still up and talking to each other. It was too noisy to fall asleep. You were talking about the two strategies, Ginko? Minato responds. Hokage. Sama's strategy is to use one powerful group to counteract another. Naruto. Sama's strategy is to break down the powerful groups from within, Ginko states. Hokage. Sama's plan must allow for both powerful groups to be out of line, but Naruto. Sama's plan can allow him to exert control on the situation. The best plan, however, is to apply both at the same time, to use the first plan as a means to buy time for the second plan to proceed. Naruto asks, where did you learn all of this? Chi-Chi. Yui has to deal with similar things all the time. I guess that's going to be a problem no matter where you are, says Minato. Abruptly, Ginko uses Naruto's lap as a pillow and lies down on the room's sofa. Naruto smiles and gives Ginko a gentle pat on the hair to put her to sleep. Shouldn't you get her back to bed? You heard what she said, the others are still up. She's here because she couldn't fall asleep there. Well, I should be getting to bed myself. Okay. I want to stay up a bit longer. Don't stay up for too long though. Remember, you still have to go to school tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Minato laughs and gestures nonchalantly toward Naruto over his shoulder before exiting the room and shutting the doors. When the doors close, Ginko turns over on her back and looks up at Naruto's face as Naruto keeps stroking her hair. Naruto. Sama. What is it, Ginko-chan? There is something I want to ask you, about the people at the academy. Is it about Hinata? I noticed that you were looking back at her quite a few times. How did you? No, it's not about Hyuga-san. It's about Yamanaka-san. Ino-chan? What's the problem? I noticed that she seems rather scared of you. Whenever you look over at her general direction, she seems to tremble involuntarily. Really? That's odd. Maybe I'll talk to her about it tomorrow. Don't you think it will be better if someone else talks to her? She is rather fearful of you. Yeah, you're right. I'll have someone talk to her to see what's going on. Naruto. Sama. What is it, Ginkgo? Chan. Can we stay here tonight? This is comfy. The other girls will be very upset if they find out. I see, but I guess some rewards are in order for doing such a fine job observing the class today. Naruto chuckles at how Ginkgo's eyes almost sparkle as soon as the words leave his mouth. Patting her shoulders to gesture for her to sit up, Naruto gets up and locks the doors to the study before returning to his seat and letting Ginkgo lie down on his lap again. Turning on her side facing away from Naruto, Ginkgo giggles as he sinks his hands into her silver locks again. Naruto keeps stroking Ginkgo's hair for another half an hour until she finally falls asleep before closing his eyes and falling asleep himself. The next morning, before anyone is inside the classrooms, Naruto draws Shikamaru and Choji to the side in the schoolyard and asks them to investigate into the situation brought to his attention yesterday by Ginkgo. After stressing in no uncertain terms how onerous a chore it would be, Shikamaru regretfully agrees to check in on Ino for Naruto. Oi, Ino. What is it, Shikamaru? Ino says from inside a swarm of Sasuke fan-females. I need to ask you something. This has better be good, Ino grumbles as she walks away from the group. Naruto asked me to talk to you. I knew it would be troublesome, but he talked me into it. Nah, Naruto. Ino says. Shikamaru can see what Naruto was talking about when he says that Ino is terrified of him. The fear in Ino's eyes is difficult to overlook, neither is the shaking body. What does he want? He wants me to ask you why you're so scared of him, Shikamaru adds. After seeing your reaction, I'm kinda curious myself. I have no idea what you're talking about. Right, and I'm sure your body is shaking because it's cold outside. That's right. Ino, you, Choji, and I grew up together. Do you really think I can't read you well enough by now? Fine. It's something stupid anyway. Well, I'm listening. When I was younger, Naruto turned my home into a wild jungle with all kinds of man-eating plants. And how would he be able to do that? It was a genjutsu. I've been scared of Naruto and anything that looks remotely like any of those plants ever since. I seem to remember my old man saying something about that. It's right before Naruto brought that fox back with him, right? That's right. I'm one of the few kids that didn't get anywhere near that fox no matter how much I want to go up and cuddle and play with it because Naruto is always right next to it. I also remember my old man saying you were laughing at him right before he pulled that prank. When Ino yells, so you're saying it's my fault, everyone in the vicinity takes notice. Shikamaru, attempting to clear his ears, adds, I don't think the people in Kumo and Iwa heard you, woman, adding, and yes, it's partly your fault. He's Hokage. Sama's son. You'd think he's not as inept at ninja skills as you tried to make him out to be. But, did you remember how Choji and I were like back then? How we can never find anyone to play with us? Yeah, cause Choji was always so terrible at those games. Let's take the reverse situation. Do you think Naruto would have any friends if he tried to act like a know-it-all? Well, perhaps it's about time you deal with your fears. I suggest you go and talk to Naruto and tell him the reason you're so afraid of him yourself. Shikamaru says as he walks away and then stops once more. At least, do that if you are serious about being a ninja. There is always the chance you'll have to work with Naruto. Better to take care of it now than to have to deal with it during a mission. Sakura approaches the girl and asks, Ino, what was that all about? It's nothing, Ino responds. Do you know where Naruto is? Naruto? But I know. Shikamaru's right, it's time I deal with it. He should be inside. Do you want me to come with you? No, you can go back to your Sasuke watching. I will deal with this myself. Right, and I'm sure your knees are trembling because your legs are tired, Sakura responds. Come on. We may be rivals, but I don't want to see you fainting. At least not when Sasuke-kun isn't around to see you make a fool out of yourself, that is. You know, Sakura, no matter how we were the best of friends way back when, I absolutely hate you. Good, the feeling's mutual, Sakura responds. I would take back my offer to go with you, but you seriously look like you need someone by your side right now, so I'll let that last comment slide. Sakura follows Ino as she enters the academy after taking a deep breath. They discover the silver fox resting her head on Naruto's lap, Gaara and Yugito sitting next to him, and Naruto in his seat. Choji, who sits a few seats behind the three, simultaneously reaches into his open bag of chips, elbows the sleeping Shikamaru, and points with his head toward the two girls near the door. Naruto, says Ino. Ino. Chan? Sakura. Chan? Is something the matter? You told Shikamaru to ask me something. Oh, that's right. Shikamaru hasn't told me your answer yet, so I don't know if he asked you yet or not. It's about the trick you pulled on Ino back when we were children, Sakura screams. What? I don't get it. When Ino adds, the genjutsu you put on my home, that's why I'm scared of you. She lowers her head so that her bangs reveal her face. Ginkgo lifts her head, glances at Ino, then approaches and presses her nose on Ino's leg. Ino kneels down, encircles Ginkgo with her arm, and strokes the fox behind her ears. Sorry about that, Ino. Chan, Naruto responds. I didn't think you'd still be scared after all these years. Well, you should have thought about it more than shouldn't you, Sakura responds. The way Ino Chan was talking, she wasn't just bragging about how she learned a new jutsu, she was talking down on other parents. I needed to defend my parents and show that Ino's parents aren't the only ones who cared enough to teach the kids new techniques. I didn't mean to. I know you are proud of your skills and your parents, Ino Chan, but you have to realize that there are always better ninjas out there no matter how strong you've gotten. You need to curb your arrogance or else you'll never survive your missions. I guess you're right, Ino replies with a sigh. Hey, wait a minute. This is about the mean trick you pulled on me. When did it become my grilling session? Well, at least you agreed that I was right, Naruto remarks, scratching the back of his head. Hey, I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Besides, it looks like your little problem is already dealt with, Yugito continues. You haven't shown an ounce of fear since you started talking to Naruto-kun. Well, now that you mention it, Ino responds. Hey, I guess Shikamaru is right after all, like always. It would appear that the rest of the class is coming in soon. Perhaps you two should head to your seats, adds Gaara. You're probably right, Ino responds. Well, Sakura, though it pains me to say this, thank you for accompanying me. You helped me deal with my confidence before, so let's just say I'm returning the favor, Sakura continues. Now we're even. Don't expect more favors from now on. You know what, Sakura? I take back what I said, I'm not grateful that you accompanied me. Yeah? And I'm sorry I ever thought about helping you, Ino? Naruto utters the words, there they go again. You're the reason this happened, Naruto. You're the reason that I ever even need to think of helping Ino. Yeah. You're the reason that I even need to come and talk to you. Hey, that's a bit unfair. Don't worry about it, Yugito. Chan, I'm used to it. But Naruto-kun, really, it's all right, Naruto responds. We only need to deal with them for a few more minutes at most. By then, either Sasuke or Iruka Sensei will get here. They have an image to uphold. We can hear everything you said, Ino murmurs, crossing her arms and sighing. Naruto tells Ino and Sakura, there's Sasuke, Ino Chan, diverting their focus from him. Ino and Sakura shout loudly and dash to the door to join the throng of fangirls gathered around Sasuke. Everyone tries to return to their pre-noise activities while sighing and silently moaning that the circus has arrived. I wish that would get over Sasuke, Naruto thinks to himself. They were much happier once they managed to forget all about him. Did you say something, Naruto-kun? Naruto responds. No, nothing at all, Yugito. Chan, before reflecting, I need to be more careful, only my parents know about my history. Hinata is the last person to come before the instructors, coming out from behind the door after the group has finally made their way to their seats. Naruto glances back toward the door at that same moment to check on the three teachers' impending arrival. With a loud eep, Hinata scurries out of the doorway and takes the seat that is farthest from Naruto, her face flushed pink. She still hasn't gotten over yesterday's embarrassment, Yugito responds, not that I blame the poor girl. I still don't know what Heishi was thinking, Naruto responds, you'd think they would take her preference into consideration. Ginkgo whispers, I think they did, so that only Naruto, Yugito, and Gaara can hear. She was staring at you and blushing whenever the instructors weren't looking yesterday. Well, maybe Heishi told Hinata Chan what he was going to do yesterday, Naruto responds. Yugito pats Ginkgo's head and remarks, Naruto-kun is definitely a very dense person, sometimes isn't he, Ginkgo? Chan. What is that supposed to mean? Yugito responds with a naive smile. Oh, nothing, she answers. After talking about the matter, Heishi and Shiori return to the Namikaze compound a week later. They observe three persons going toward them as they reach the gate after rounding the curve on the next street. Since Heishi and Shiori have never seen those three individuals in the hamlet before and the group lacks any identifying information, they immediately feel tense and prepare for an unexpected attack. Minato is bringing the trash outside right now. Oh, Heishi-san. Shiori-san, what brings you two here? Shiori tries to leave the three strangers behind and adds, Hokage Sama, maybe we should talk inside. Screaming, Oi, Minato, is one of the three strangers. Minato stretches his neck to look past Shiori and Heishi out of curiosity. They're approached by a man with flaming red hair, dressed in a yellow shirt, long white pants, and an open blood red robe. A man with brown hair, dressed in a yellow muscle shirt with the sleeves ripped off, dark brown fingerless gloves, and white sweatpants. And a woman with black hair that reaches her waist, dressed in a black kimono with white pants underneath. "Oh, Kitsune, Neko, Tanuki, what brings the three of you here?" Shiori says, "Do you know them, Hokage? Sama? They are my associates from other areas. I usually communicate with them using code names." "I see. I was concerned that they are intruders," Heishi continues. "Even with them trying to suppress their strength, I can still sense the power flowing within their body. So, no sense standing around out here. Let's talk inside," Minato responds. As everyone arrives at the home, Kushina wonders, "Oh my, what brings all these rare guests here today?" "I'm just here with Kitsune," says Shukaku, assuming the alias the Hokage created for them, that and to check in on my godson. "And I my goddaughter," exclaims Nekomata. Shiori inquires, "You have godchild living here?" "Oh, they're just talking about Gara-kun and Yugito Chan," Kushina responds to the two Biju, "but the children are at the academy right now. Ginkgo Chan is out in the yard with Koyuki Chan though. She'll notice my presence soon enough. There is no need for me to find her." Ginkgo's human form appears out of nowhere in the living room and leaps into Kyuubi's arms. Kyuubi can tell the female is only a clone just by picking her up. The Kyuubi believes that his daughter is with Naruto in her beast form because the kids are now at the academy. As Heishi begins to speak, the Kyuubi places the clone on the ground and looks back at Minato. "Hokage Sama, even after alerting my clan's council of Naruto's availability, they have decided that they will continue their pursuit." "I see," Minato responds. "Well, I suppose I should draft the documents then." Shiori sighs suddenly, bringing everyone's attention to herself. Kushina wonders, "Is something wrong, Shiori-san?" "No, it's nothing. I suppose I should be happy. This is what Hinata Chan wanted after all, especially after what Naruto did for her," Shiori responds. "The problem lies with Hanabi Chan. She seems to have taken an interest in Naruto after meeting him, constantly asking Hinata Chan and I about him. I wonder how she would react to the news." Minato responds, "Well, I'm sure it can't be too bad. There is a rivalry between Hinata and Hanabi. Ever since Hanabi was born, they knew that it would be their destiny to compete against each other in all aspects of life," says Heishi. "I suppose one of them shall be the heir of the clan, and by all counts Hinata should be the heir since she is the eldest child. However, Hanabi has proven to be much more talented than Hinata, even at her young age, and probably in part due to their one-sided rivalry. So since your eldest daughter has taken an interest in Naruto, your youngest is doing the same just for the sake of beating her sister," Kyuubi continues. "Sounds like something you should nip at the bud. It is not quite as simple. While the initial approach is probably due to the rivalry, it would appear that Hanabi has taken a genuine interest in Naruto. Where this interest may lead I have no idea, but it certainly is concerning to say the least," Shiori continues. Minato asserts, "Even at his age, he already has women trouble. Just like you did all those years ago, Hokage Sama. It hasn't been that long ago, Heishi. You still remember what the council tried on me the first couple of years after Kushina Chan was in a coma, don't you?" "I suppose I do." With fire in her eyes, Kushina asks, "What did they try, Minato-kun?" "They tried to find other women for Hokage Sama to marry, according to Heishi, of course. Hokage Sama enlisted the help of a number of clans to fight the proposal to a standstill." Kyuubi asks, "A number of clans?" The Uchiha clan was a strong supporter of the proposal, probably in part due to the fact that at least one of the women would come from their clan. "Hokage Sama enlisted the help of my clan along with those of the Yamanaka, Nara, Akamichi, Inuzuka, and Aburame to fight off the political alliance between the Uchiha and some of the smaller clans." "So what happened?" inquires Kushina. "Naruto happened," says Minato. "Like I said, they only tried to force the proposal the first couple of years, because by then, every time they want to approach the issue, Naruto would cause quite a stir in the council chamber. We all know firsthand just exactly how destructive Naruto can be when he wants to. I think I can still see the remnant of some of the tricks Naruto left behind in that chamber." "That's my boy, I'm glad you're happy about it, Kushina-san," Shiori responds. "The council gave it one last shot when Naruto was 4, it took me ages to help Heishi-kun clean off the stench of the stink bombs he left in that place. That's probably how Hanabi Chan came about, right? What are you complaining about?" Kushina responds. Red in the face, Shiori yells, "That's not the point. Kushina. Chan, that's enough. There are other people in the room, Minato responds. Kushina seems as uncomfortable as Shiori, but not as much. Oh, sorry about that, she says. In any case, Haishi states, clearing his throat to get everyone's attention, Kitsune.san is correct, we should closely monitor the Hanabi situation. Well, let's get to my office to work on the document, Minato responds. As an aside, Nekomata says, when will the children be home by the way? Minato.kun and I are going to see them at the academy in about half an hour, Kushina continues. Their class should be having a sparring session then. Interesting, I think I shall check in on their progress as well. After all, I need to see if Naruto is fit to be my son.in.law. And my godson.in.law as well. Kitsune.san. Neko.san. You mean to say that Naruto.kun is engaged to Ginkgo? Chan and Yugito, Chan as well? When Tsunade comes downstairs, she says, and my daughter as well Shiori, along with the sand and snow princesses. Tenten. Chan, Koyuki, Chan, and Tamari, Chan too. Why do you sound so surprised Shiori? I thought we discussed this already. But Haishi.kun, you only told me that there are a couple of girls who are interested. You didn't tell me that Hinata Chan would be sixth in line. Looking at his wife, Haishi wonders, would it have made a difference? Well no, and I don't think Hinata Chan would mind, not with her nature. Then why does it matter if it's 2, 6, or even 10 or 20? If you put it that way, come on Shiori.san, Neko.san, Tsunade.ba. Chan. Let's have some small talk over a cup of tea in the yard while the men handle whatever business they have, Kushina responds. When Tsunade says, all right, I'll have Shizune brew the tea. You're making poor Shizune Chan do all the chores for you Tsunade.ba, Chan. Well, she's my apprentice. Besides, she loves doing these kinds of domestic works. Are you sure she isn't complaining because you are practically ordering her to do the chores? Tsunade remarks, she really doesn't mind at all. She'll be a good housewife someday, as Shizune enters the room. With an anxious expression on her face, Shizune rushes toward the Sanin and exclaims, Tsunade. Sama. You're not trying to get rid of me are you? No, I'm not trying to get rid of you, Tsunade responds, it's just that I don't want you to dedicate your entire life just for me. Why don't I go and make the tea while you two talk it out, suggests Kushina. No, it's okay Kushina. Sama, I'll do it, admits Shizune. The pupils are already paired off to spar when the adults get to the academy. They notice that all of the parents are congregated in the schoolyard, searching for a suitable location to keep an eye on their kids. Amid the confusion, Kiba dashes up behind Gaara, his faithful friend Akamaru at his side, as he approaches the wide open area in the center with his arms crossed as usual. She yells, come on Kiba, show him what you got, from the right side of the group. Beside her, a young woman yells, that's right, don't embarrass us Kiba. Hey, mom, sis, don't worry about it. I'll take care of him in no time, Kiba responds. He's always hiding behind Naruto and Yugito in a fight. I bet he can't fight at all. Hey dad, I'm glad you can make it, a voice says directly in front of Minato. If this is the way Kiba's going to act, he's going to get his clock cleaned. There you are Naruto, I've been looking all over for you, Minato responds. So, who are you fighting? Uchiha Sasuke. Do try to take it easy on him, alright Naruto? Take it easy on him. Haishi responds, aren't you a bit too overconfident about Naruto's ability Hokage? Sama? Uchiha Sasuke is one of the more talented students in this class. As Iruka steps into the center of the yard, Minato remarks, oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it, adding, looks like the match is starting. With Akamaru at his side, Kiba jumps back as soon as Iruka starts the game, searching for a chance to attack. With his arms still folded, Gaara just stands there and looks boredly at Kiba. Gaara taunts, well, aren't you going to attack? That's it, now you're going to get it. Kiba cocks his right arm back as he charges forward, attempting to leverage the momentum to make his punch stronger. But he is stopped 2 feet in front of Gaara by a spike wall of sand that rises from the earth. Kiba stops himself in time and leaps back to find another entrance, but the wall falls as soon as his feet hit the ground, and Gaara rushes through the sand to strike the startled Kiba, sending him flying into the trees around the yard. Naruto remarks, Kiba never stood a chance against Gaara, as 2 more competitors arrive in the yard. Oh, Yugito. Chan and Hinata. Chan are next. So Kaneko. Chan is fighting against Haishi. San's daughter, interesting, Nekomata explains. Yugito can barely contain her excitement, shifting her weight from side to side anxious to start the bout, while Hinata adopts the Juken stance as soon as she enters the yard. Yugito runs forward straight into Hinata's defense at the start of the battle, but he quickly changes course to loop around Hinata and hit the Hyuga from behind. Before hastily turning around, Hinata stumbles a few steps, but Yugito is already directly in front of her. Yugito circles back around Hinata as she tries to defend herself by raising her arms. However, Yugito merely whispers something in Hinata's ears rather than hitting her. Before Yugito can even retreat, Hinata instantly reacts by activating her Byakugan and spinning around, launching Juken strike after Juken strike. Naruto asks himself, just what did Yugito-chan tell Hinata? Chan. Yugito jumps back to escape Hinata's desperate blows, her left arm crippled by the Juken strikes. Yugito concentrates her chakra on her left shoulder and shoots it down her left arm to force open the chakra spots while she keeps dodging. Hinata is startled to see the impact of her strikes lessen after activating her Byakugan. Additionally, Hinata is beginning to slow down due to the pressure that the constant usage of the Byakugan and Juken is placing on her chakra, while Yugito's chakra level keeps rising. With her Byakugan fading and her breathing laboring, Hinata asks, "How can you be so strong?" "I might not look it, but I train very hard every day," smirked Yugito. "Like I said, if you want to even have a chance to impress Naruto-kun, you still have to work much harder." On the sidelines, Naruto exclaims, "Please don't tell me she just said what I think she said." "Okay. I won't. Mom, Yugito simply needs a few well-placed blows to knock Hinata out because Hinata's chakra is running low." As two additional female pupils get ready for their turn, Naruto approaches the two kunoichi.in training and assists Yugito in moving Hinata to her parents. Minato asks, "Hey Naruto, who are they?" while searching for a chakra pill for Hinata. "Oh, that's Sakura, Chan and Amy," Naruto responds. "My match is right after theirs. Their build, they might struggle with some of the more physical tasks of being a ninja." "I'm not going to tell them that," Naruto responds. "You can go and tell them." "That's scary, huh? You have no idea." It is not long before Sakura collapses on her face. As Amy and her crowd celebrate, Naruto sighs and steps out into the center of the yard. Naruto approaches Sakura and extends his hand to assist her in standing up. "Sasuke-kun is supposed to come here and comfort me. Why do you have to go and ruin everything?" He's already standing there waiting for his turn to fight Sakura. "Chan," Naruto responds, "are you sure you want to keep lying there and delaying his fight?" Sakura hurries to her feet and makes her way to the sidelines after taking one glance at the boy of her dreams. Naruto stretches lightly as he waits for Iruka to start the fight, catching a glimpse of the impatient Sasuke out of the corner of his eye. As Iruka confers with his colleagues, none of them appear to be interested in proctoring the contest. The crowd waits anxiously for the battle and periodically grumbles about the delay. In order to ensure that both students fully comprehend the regulations, Iruka reluctantly moves between them and goes over them again. When Tsunade notices the hesitancy in the Chunin's gaze, she replies, "Oh, step aside Iruka. If you're so worried about proctoring this match, then I'll do it." Iruka remarks, "Please go ahead Tsunade. Sama," without even trying to conceal his joy, "it would be our honor to have one of the Sannin proctor a match." Iruka is replaced by Tsunade, who says, "All right, I trust that we all know the rules. So let's start the match." Sasuke rushes forward to try to get the upper hand as soon as Tsunade starts the match. At the last second, Naruto takes a sidestep and sticks out his foot to trip Sasuke, causing the Uchiha to lose his equilibrium. He staggered a few paces before turning to see Naruto grinning at him from the same location. Sasuke charges again, growling in rage, but the same thing occurs. Naruto chooses to initiate contact before Sasuke may attempt a third time. However, Naruto moves side to side rather than directly towards Sasuke, forcing Sasuke to constantly adjust his weight to counteract Naruto's movements. Naruto's movement width gets increasingly smaller as he approaches Sasuke. When a certain kunoichi sees Naruto's footsteps up in the trees, she narrows her eyes. Naruto's pace quickens as he approaches striking range, attracting Sasuke to defend one side before swiftly changing his weight to strike the vulnerable side. Before Sasuke chooses to remain still to protect both sides and wait for the ideal opportunity to counter, Naruto is able to land a good amount of blows. When Sasuke alters his strategy, Naruto similarly modifies his attacks, switching from a speed-based to a power-based attack in an attempt to undermine Sasuke's protection. Minato tries to enter and break up the duel after realizing that Sasuke will never be able to withstand Naruto's strikes, but Kushina pulls her husband back. "Kushina-chan, don't you think that's quite enough?" "Don't worry Minato-kun. Naruto-kun knows what he's doing. Kushina responds. Besides, it'll do him good to let off some steam. I hope you're right. As they return their focus to the battle, they see that Naruto has forced Sasuke back within a few feet of the throng, just feet from a furious Uchiha Fugaku who is obviously upset over his son's failure to mount a defense. A young girl, perhaps 7 years old, is standing amid the Uchiha contingent, staring at Naruto with unadulterated admiration, but everyone is too preoccupied with the fight to notice her. With the exception of Uchiha Makoto, who is caring for her son, all of the Uchiha members depart the academy without even glancing at the vanquished Sasuke after Naruto ultimately ends the battle by knocking him unconscious and leaving him sprawled on the ground at Uchiha Fugaku's feet. The Uchiha's response has obviously horrified everyone in the schoolyard. Since lessons are out for the day, Makoto merely thanked Tsunade for offering to use her medical ninjutsu to aid Sasuke's recovery, but she declined the offer before assisting her son in getting to his feet and returning to the Uchiha compound. Naruto remarks, that was rather rude of them, as he and Tsunade make their way back to Minato. According to Minato, I still think you overdid it, Naruto. Oh well, someone's got to knock that arrogant bastard down a few pegs. Even I think that was a bit much, Naruto, says Kushina. You didn't have to completely embarrass him in front of everyone like that. Guess I don't know my own strength. This is serious, Naruto. You don't go and embarrass a clan like the Uchiha in front of everyone and get away with it. There's going to be major trouble. Don't worry, Okada-san. If they want trouble, I'll give them more trouble than they'll ever want, says Naruto. Besides, it's important for me to do that. Everyone is saying that there are only a few candidates to succeed Otou-san as the Hokage, and Sasuke and I are two of them. Now that I completely destroyed Sasuke in a fight, it gives me an edge down the road. Well, I suppose I can't argue with that logic, Minato responds, but there are still more immediate concerns that who will become the Hokage in the future, like how to repair relations with the Uchiha clan. There are no relations for you to repair in the first place, Otou-san, Naruto responds. They've been going against every one of your decisions ever since you became Hokage, didn't they? Yes, but they are still one of the major clans of Konoha. Well, if they want trouble, then Kitsune Sensei and I will take care of them. Don't get overconfident, Naruto. The Uchiha clan is at worst an even match for all of us combined. Kyuubi cautions, and if they truly are the master of the Sharingan like they claim to be, then we will be at a definite disadvantage. Before their conversation becomes engaging, Minato asks, anyway, are there more interesting matches? No, not really. You guys missed most of the fights, Naruto responds. So I guess school is over for the day, right? Kushina responds, so let's go home already. Kyuubi looks at the tree where the kunoichi was staring at Naruto and remarks, yes, we still have a lot to talk about, Minato. The crowd in the yard begins to thin out as the majority of the kids have already completed the day's sparring practice. Once Tenten and Tamari have joined them, the group leaves with the others. As they are nearly back at the Namikaze compound, Kyuubi abruptly seizes Naruto, pulls 2 shuriken out of his weapons pouch, and shoots them into a nearby tree. As the shuriken are deflected and a shadow leaps out of the tree to try to strike the Kyuubi, there are 2 loud clanks. But Minato intervenes and stops the kunoichi before they can trade blows. Anko, what are you doing? Hokage Sama, he attacked me. The way you were perched on that tree and with your glare on Naruto, I could have sworn you're the one who's looking for a chance to attack. What's going on here? Minato asks, is what Kitsune said true? I think I can answer that, Naruto responds. The moves I used to beat Sasuke, at least the first part of it, was Enko.ne. Chansabi no Mai. I saw her practicing with it once, then I got overexcited against Sasuke and used it without thinking. Not only did you spy on me, you stole my moves and actually have the gall to use them without my permission, Enko responds. I never used those moves in battle, now everyone will think that I got them from you. Well, there is a simple solution to that, Minato responds. I'll have you train Naruto, then you can tell everyone you were the one that taught him the Habi no Mai. After all, Naruto's form is still rather rough around the edges. Since you created it, and he learned the basics of it already, it shouldn't be too difficult for him to improve. You're allowing me to teach someone Hokage, Sama? I don't see why not. After all, you are a perfectly loyal shinobi and I know you can be a perfectly capable instructor if given the chance. But the council, well, I guess you'll just have to do such a good job that they can't complain about it, Minato responds. You don't have any problem with that arrangement, right, Heishi? No, I have no complaints at all. In fact, I would like for her to teach Hinata the same style. With her flexibility, the style would complement her Juken style very well. Actually, I was hoping to ask if she would teach Kaneko Chan as well. You don't have any problems with that, do you, Anko? No, of course not, Anko responds. I won't let you down, Hokage. Sama. Thank you so much. Naruto, Yugito, and Hinata all saw significant improvements in their taijutsu skills as a result of their training with Anko. Anko's training did yield the intended outcome, despite being unorthodox and frequently nearly impossible. Anko would have the three kids perform stretching exercises to improve their flexibility during the first training session. For the first few days, until they adapted to the trainings, the three kids would come home in need of Shizune and Tsunade's medical assistance to treat all the various strains and occasionally torn muscles. Anko led the children through the principles of the style in the second portion of the training, and sometimes she would bring real snakes so the kids could watch how they moved. Naruto and Yugito would occasionally instruct Gaara in the style and assist him in applying the ideas to his sand use during this phase as well. Anko made the decision to teach the three kids the real Habi no Mai stance and motions after they had perfected the first two steps. The brazen Tokubetsu Junin would try to gain Hinata's trust on the side. Once, after learning that Hinata had a new teacher, Hanabi insisted that Anko train her as well, but a month later, he gave up entirely because of how difficult the training was. A few days later, when Anko raised that point, Hinata would stoically point out that Anko had been particularly harsh on Hanabi after becoming agitated over the attitude of the young girl. From that day on, Hinata's reaction became increasingly adamant whenever Anko brought up Hanabi's training again, to the point where even Yugito and Naruto were taken aback by the frequently bashful girl. Naturally, the confidence was limited to the training area because, once training was over for the day, Hinata would revert to her typical timid self, which greatly irritated Anko. After the training, which lasted only about a year, Anko chose to let the kids finish the remaining tasks on their own, utilizing their individual characteristics to shape the style into something that was exclusively theirs. At Ginkgo's request, Kyuubi took her back to the demon world to continue her training while the three kids were training under Anko. Ginkgo believed that she was not learning anything at the academy that would help Naruto in the future. As demonstrated by the human form clone that Ginkgo has been using, the basic jutsus, Kawarimi no Jutsu, Henge no Jutsu, and Bunshin no Jutsu, can be readily replicated with her demon powers, rendering the taijutsu taught at the academy completely useless once the trainees are fully trained ninjas. As a relatively young demon herself, she also believed that in order to be ready for the day when Naruto succeeds her father, she should become knowledgeable about the inner workings of the demon world. A surprise is given to the Namikaze household following one of Kushina's examinations during this time as well. "What do you mean the family is getting a new member?" "Calm down, Naruto," says Minato. "I thought you would want a sibling." "A sibling? Oh, so I'm not getting another wife?" Naruto responds. "That would mean, mom's pregnant?" Kushina says, "That's right, Naruto-kun," as she descends the stairs. "Mom, you shouldn't be moving around like this." "Oh, calm down, Naruto. I can move about just fine." But, she's right, Naruto. Just because Kushina's pregnant it doesn't mean she should be stuck in bed all day. Tsunade replies as she descends stairs. In fact, a moderate amount of exercise will do both her and the baby some good. "Well, if you say so, Tsunade-ba-chan. Regardless, you should be a bit more careful, Kushina. You're really just around the time when it would start to get dangerous to have a baby and your coma spell before doesn't help things at all. You worry too much, Tsunade-ba-chan. Quit fooling around, Kushina. I am serious." "Don't worry, Tsunade-ba-chan. Dad and I will keep a close eye on Mom," says Naruto. "I won't let anything happen to Mom." The three kids breeze through the classes with ease on the academic front. They would be among the most impressive during the sparring. Interestingly, Sasuke is never paired with either Gaara or Naruto because the students are split into two groups. One with only male students and the other with only female students. However, every opponent he faced always needed medical care after the match. Naruto remarks, "Sasuke is becoming more and more violent. You do know that the two of you are his real targets, right?" Yugito responds, "He's only doing this because he thinks the teachers would have to put him against either one of you eventually just to minimize damage. Still, he is starting to become out of control," says Naruto. "The only reason I don't want to put him in his place is to avoid letting him know just how much stronger I am. I suppose he is not someone who take defeats well. Not someone who is likely to give up on what they want either by the looks of it," says Yugito. "Well, we can't worry about him now. Let's go. Naruto, I challenge you to a spar." "Sorry, Sasuke, I'm not interested." "Are you scared? Think what you want. Gaara, Yugito-chan, let's go home." The Uchiha executes the Kaden Gukakyu no Jutsu after going through a number of hand seals as soon as the group turns away from Sasuke. The attack and its target are suddenly separated by a wall of sand before the fireball reaches its target. To ensure that no one saw Naruto leap through the fire and punch Sasuke in the stomach, sending him into the trees, everyone in the schoolyard had to cover their eyes from the swirling flame. The only indication that anything had happened was the loud cracks as a tree fell to the ground. Naruto is already running after Sasuke, his kunai blade gleaming in the sunlight, before Yugito can intervene to stop him. Sasuke's eyes widen in terror, and he can only crawl backward in a last-ditch effort to escape Naruto. Naruto is about to drive the kunai into Sasuke's chest when an arm reaches out and seizes his wrist. I know Sasuke attacked you and your friends when your backs were turned, but it doesn't warrant killing him, Naruto, Iruka responds. Sasuke, this is your last warning. Naruto screams, if you ever try to hurt any one of my friends again, not a person in this world can stop me from killing you. Come on Naruto-kun, let's just go home. Yugito pulls Naruto's sleeves. Naruto gives Sasuke a final glare, puts the kunai away, and walks out of the schoolyard with Yugito and Gaara by his side, attempting to stop him from pursuing Sasuke once more. The group sees Makoto at the entrance, who witnessed everything that happened and is wearing an apologetic expression, while Yugito and Gaara pause momentarily to pay their respects to the wife of the head of the Uchiha clan. Naruto ignores her and simply stomps off toward the Namikaze compound. The boy is waiting outside the mansion's entrance when the two eventually catch up to Naruto. Naruto-kun. Don't worry Yugito-chan. I'm just trying to calm myself, Naruto responds. Mom is pregnant. It won't do to scare her by slamming the door. Naruto-kun. I know Sasuke is a jerk and all, but I have a feeling that you seem to get angry for every little thing he does. Attacking us for no reason isn't a little thing Yugito-chan, Naruto responds. However, you know very well that the attack will do us no harm, Gaara remarks as he passes them and enters the structure. If I don't stop him now, what's to stop him when he does have the power? I guess you do have a point there. We are not going to pass judgment on you Naruto. I'm sure you know what's best. I decided to stay here instead of returning to Suna because you are someone I can trust my life with. Thanks Yugito-chan. Thank you Gaara. Kushina calls out from the living room. Now what are you kids standing around in the hall for? Come in. We were just talking Mom. Kushina teases. Oh, something you don't want me to hear? No, that's not it. I'm just kidding dear, why are your clothes singed? This is just from a little spar. Naruto, what are you hiding? Sasuke attacked us with a Gukakyu no Jutsu in the schoolyard Kushina. Sama. Yugito-chan, hisses Naruto, he did what? Don't worry about it Mom, I took care of him. But Naruto, he still attacked you. He still has a long ways to go before he can hurt us Mom, says Naruto. He might be Uchiha and might get the Sharingan eventually, but the three of us also have a trump card. For all our sake, I hope that you guys don't ever have to use your trump card, Kushina responds. Well, I'm just about to start fixing dinner, do you want to help me Yugito? Yugito hands Naruto her bag and says, of course Kushina. Sama, please take this back to our room for me Naruto-kun. Sasuke has committed to even more intense training since his most recent loss to Naruto because he is determined to defeat the Hokage's son. But regardless of how many times Sasuke tries to challenge Naruto later on, one of the instructors or a nearby ninja would undoubtedly intervene before Naruto could even reply, inventing a reason to keep them apart. After being asked to run another errand, Naruto remarks, this must be Dad's work, because there can't be this many distractions. But this means that you won't have to fight Sasuke, Yugito remarks as he approaches Naruto. Blatantly obvious, but effective nonetheless. I'm going to have a word with Dad after I get home. The excuses are sounding more and more ridiculous every day. A person abruptly emerges from a side street and stops directly in front of Naruto. The three young ninja.in training jump backward and grab their weapon pouch in shock at the unexpected entrance. Naruto-san, may I have a word with you? Makoto-san? Is something the matter? It's about Sasuke as well as the Uchiha clan. Why talk to me about your clan Makoto-san? It's not something I should talk to Hokage Sama about, at least not at this moment. Yugito pulls on Naruto's sleeve and asks, should Gaara and I go on ahead? Well, no it's all right. They can stay. What do you want to tell me Makoto-san? I want to ask you to pretend to lose a match against Sasuke. What? Yells Naruto, who then quickly gathers himself. I apologize, Makoto-san. I know you want Sasuke to succeed, but I can't do it. This is beyond just a rivalry between you and my son Naruto-san. Fugaku has been behaving strangely recently. I think he is plotting something, and ever since Itachi's death he has been dedicating more time to his plan. Makoto responds. I don't know what he's planning, but from his behaviors since he saw Sasuke's defeat at your hands, I'm worried that his plans means harm to Konoha. So you think by me losing to Sasuke, it would stop whatever it is that he's planning? I'm hoping that it would be the case. With all due respect, I highly doubt that Makoto-san. If your husband does intend to do Konoha harm, then things are already beyond repair, says Naruto. I understand your hesitancy to report any of this to my dad, and I can promise you that I won't tell him unless it is absolutely necessary. But I should advise you, Makoto-san, you should decide where your allegiance lie if your husband does intend to revolt. The fact that you came to me shows that you know the gravity of the situation. I hope that you give it some thought. I can't speak to you too much without attracting suspicion. Even coming to you here in the first place is a huge risk, Makoto states. This is a picture of my niece Kyoko. She is a big fan of yours, so the clan wouldn't get too suspicious if she hangs out around you all the time. If I have any new messages, I'll communicate them to you through her. Thank you, Makoto-san. At this point, I can only ask this of you, Naruto-san. Makoto responds, not everyone in the Uchiha clan follows my husband blindly. I hope if something does happen, that Hokage Sama doesn't view everyone in my clan in the same light. I understand, Makoto-san, I won't let that happen. Naruto's entire attitude shifts when Makoto departs. Even Gaara and Yugito back off a little from the blatant murderous intent. Nah, Naruto-kun. If they even try anything, I'll destroy them. But Naruto-kun, didn't you promise Makoto-san that? I know what I promised Yugito-chan, but for her sake I hope she doesn't betray my trust. I'm sure she's not that kind of person. Do you realize what she wanted me to do by losing to Sasuke? Yugito responds, no, I mean, it's just a small spar. Everyone in the village is saying that either Sasuke or I will succeed my father as the next Hokage. All they need is one opening to push Sasuke to the top, says Naruto. Only the school children and their parents saw the two fights between me and Sasuke. I bet the Uchiha are planning to host a public spar to showcase Sasuke and I to the villagers in the match they want me to lose. I don't think Makoto-san is the type to do something like that. I still don't know. It could be her own idea, or her husband might have forced it on her. I suppose every village suffers from internal struggles, says Gaara. It would appear your hatred of Sasuke and the Uchiha clan is justified after all. So what should we do? Should we tell Hokage Sama? No, not yet. I need more concrete information. Dad already has an eye on the Uchiha clan. I'm sure this won't be any news to him. If the three of you want to take on the Uchiha clan, then you'll need a lot more training, suddenly someone says. Kyuubi. Sama, what do you want, Baka? Kitsune. Your mate is a lot more respectful than you or Kit. Kyuubi continues, the three of us won't be of much use against the Uchiha clan if they master their power. While I doubt any of them in this village has that ability, we still need to be careful. So what do you want us to do, Baka? Kitsune. This ninja academy, does it have a vacation? Naruto asks, growing irritated quickly. Yes, what of it? Whatever vacation you would have, the three of you will be training to utilize your second gift. Second gift? Inquires Yugito. Even though Ichibi, Nibi, and I are demon lords, our minds can easily be manipulated by foreign influences. However, even though the three of you have demon chakra flowing inside you, your mind and body are still that of a human. In other words, you're saying we have the best of both worlds, Naruto responds, the pure power of a demon and the complexity of a human mind. In a way, yes. However, you neither have the full power of a demon nor the full complexity of a human mind. That is what you need to develop. So it boils down to you wanting us to train our mental capacity. That's right, Kit. Even without its full power, the Sharingan can still produce powerful genjutsu. You need to be able to deal with this threat or else you won't stand a chance against the Uchiha clan. Naruto grinned and remarked, genjutsu huh? I think I have the perfect instructor in mind. You're talking about Kurenai-san, right, Naruto-kun? Of course. She is the genjutsu mistress of Konoha for a reason, Yugito-chan, Naruto responds. Now all I need to do is to pull a few strings. If you have your trainer, then I will send Ginkgo back to you to train alongside the three of you. But didn't you say that demons can't, even you were controlled, right? Naruto inquires. Yes, but who says Ginkgo is a pureblood demon? What, you mean? Ginkgo doesn't even know about that herself, so I'd appreciate it if you don't let her know. Kyuubi responds. It's been a few hundred years ago anyway. That's not to say I don't visit her every now and then. How would you be able to visit Ginkgo's mom if she was a human that lived a few hundred years ago? I am a demon lord. I can pull a few strings with Nibi and through her the Shinigami. So that means, she is now somewhere between the living and the dead, Kyuubi continues, in other words, a demon in training. I plan on telling Ginkgo about her mother once she completes her training and can join Ginkgo and I. That's almost exactly like how Hokage Sama hid the truth about Kushina Sama from Naruto.kun. That's your choice, Kyuubi, Naruto states, just make sure Ginkgo Chan can spend a lot of time with her mother afterward. You don't have to worry about that, Kyuubi responds. I believe your school year will end in a month, I'll have Ginkgo come back by then. Fine, then I'll wait for her before starting the training. The Demon Lord fulfills his promise to Naruto by sending his daughter back to him a month after they first met Kyuubi. A much more restrained group of Gaara, Yugito, and Ginkgo follow Naruto as he storms into the Hokage's office, believing he should speak to his father about studying under Kurenai. My apologies, Hokage Sama, Yugito responds. I tried to make Naruto.kun wait outside quietly. Don't worry about it, Yugito. I'm pretty much used to it. When Naruto sees the Kunoichi in the office delivering her mission report, he yells, Kurenai.ne. Chan. Perfect, I was searching everywhere for you. Why would you be looking for me? Well, about that. Naruto looks around the room before approaching the Hokage in silence and beginning to whisper in his ear. After Naruto is done, Minato reclines in his chair and looks thoughtfully at the four kids. No one in the room dares to interrupt the Hokage for at least 5 minutes, or until Naruto loses patience. Oh come on, just give me an answer. Well, if you're willing to train along with someone else, then I can arrange for her to train you. Gazing at his father, Naruto asks, someone else? Actually, I just received a request from one of the clans asking for a personal genjutsu trainer for their heiress, and I was just talking to Kurenai about having her train a student, says Minato. If you can convince her to train all of you, then I guess it's okay. I'm having enough trouble just to get her to train the heiress. As he reflects, Naruto murmurs, a clan heiress, is it Kurama Yakumo Chan? Kurenai asks, how do you know about her? Looking at the Hokage, Naruto remarks, I've heard of her clan before. If I want to be the next Hokage, I need to know about all the clans. Right, Kurenai.ne, Chan? Minato understands Naruto's meaning when he says, it's getting a bit late. Why don't you all come back tomorrow and we'll discuss it further then? Kurenai bows and says, very well, Hokage Sama, before departing the office. Can you tell the clerk not to send anyone in? Minato responds, I'll be heading home with the children. Of course, Hokage Sama. The group chooses to exit the room through the window rather than the door, delighting in the evening breeze as they pass through the rooftops. As they return to the Namikaze compound, Minato leads Naruto to the study while sending Gaara, Yugito, and Ginkgo back to their rooms to finish the vacation assignments. After making sure no one is listening, Minato asks, all right, what do you know about Yakumo? Yakumo Chan has the Edo monster in her subconscious. So, it has finally manifested again. Gigi ordered Kurenai.ne Chan to seal away Yakumo Chan's power so the Edo monster can't harm Konoha, says Naruto, but it ends up breaking out anyway. Any seals of that sort would depend heavily on the will of the person, Minato asserts. I really don't see Yakumo having the determination to sustain the seal. Yakumo Chan didn't even know about the existence of the Edo monster at the time. Well, she knows about it, but she just suppresses that memory so much so that she can't remember about it. What happened? The Edo monster killed Yakumo Chan's parents right in front of her. That's exactly why the village is so concerned about the Kurama clan, says Minato. They can become a threat to the entire village if they can't control their power. We really need to convince Kurenai.ne Chan to train Yakumo Chan and see if she can defeat the Edo monster while it's still in Yakumo Chan's subconscious. Someone with Kurenai's chakra control and knowledge of the mind would be able to access someone's subconscious, but I'm not sure if she can defeat the Edo monster on her own. Inoichi could help, but I'm not sure if he stands much of a chance since he's not exactly a fighter type. If only someone outside the Yamanaka clan can learn something like that. For a moment, Minato looks up and fixes her gaze on Naruto. Despite its briefness, Naruto is sufficiently uneasy. Naruto questions Minato about the look after it becomes apparent that he won't elaborate. Don't worry about it, Naruto. You won't like the answer. Just by saying that you're making me press you for an answer. I suppose that is true, Minato responds. There was one instance where the Yamanaka clan taught their techniques to someone outside their clan. What happened? They have an ultimatum afterward. Either marry someone from the Yamanaka clan or commit suicide after the mission is done. So if you were to learn it, that would mean. No way dad, that won't work. Ino is a very nice girl. A bit bossy at times, but still a nice girl, says Minato. Besides, it solves two problems you want to deal with. Help Yakumo and get Ino's attention away from Sasuke. I want Ino-chan to forget about Sasuke, but that doesn't mean I want to be the distraction that caused it, Naruto states. Besides, the Idu monster is a master at genjutsu. I don't stand a chance against that. If that is still the case after you trained with Kurenai, I would be very disappointed in both of you. But training takes time. We'll just deal with things as they come. According to Minato, there's always the possibility that Yakumo can learn how to control the Idu monster's power with the proper training and encouragement. Even if we have to destroy the Idu monster, it might still be weak enough for Kurenai and Inoichi to deal with. I guess we have no choice. The priority is to make sure the Idu monster doesn't awaken and attack the Kurama clan members, since they would be the first in line with their proximity to Yakumo. We can always move her out of the clan house. That's not a bad idea, Minato responds. I'll have a word with Yakumo's parents. Your job is to convince Kurenai to accept the training assignment. When Naruto sent Yugito and Ginko to do the work, Kurenai was quickly persuaded to accept Yakumo as a student. Yakumo was initially overjoyed that she would finally have a tutor to assist her in her pursuit of ninja skills, but she soon changed her mind after learning that she would need to leave her house and that other people would be studying with her. Naruto dragged the entire group to the Kurama clan house to study with Yakumo after he failed to appear for the first lesson. Yakumo felt much more at ease with Naruto, Yugito, Ginko, and Gaara following that initial lesson. Yakumo eventually consented to relocate to one of the clan's mansions on the outskirts of the village, away from the clan compound, after receiving a little prodding from everyone in attendance. As Naruto, Yugito, Ginko, and Gaara wait for Yakumo and Kurenai to arrive, 2 weeks after training begins, Kurenai interrupts their conversation. So when are we supposed to deal with the Idu monster? Asks Gaara. I don't know. There really isn't any good opportunity to tell Yakumo-chan about it, Naruto responds. It's not exactly something that is ever going to present a good opportunity to discuss. Yugito-san is right, Naruto. Sama. The longer we wait, the stronger the Idu monster will become. Do you or your father know anything about the Idu monster, Ginko-chan? Not beyond what you already know, Naruto. Sama. At this rate, we are going to need Inoichi's help, says Naruto. We have to do this in one shot. If the Idu monster knows that we know of its existence and we can't destroy it, it's going to completely take over Yakumo-chan's mind. Kurenai asks herself, how do they know about the monster? If they do, why did they want me to teach Yakumo? Ginko abruptly raises her head and looks around the training area. Kurenai is alerted and hides behind the trees, believing that the kids aren't tracking well enough to detect her. Ginko looks toward the tree Kurenai is hiding behind and sniffs the air. Ginko utters, Kurenai. Sensei, you're here. How did you figure out where I am? I can smell you. What? Your perfume is very unique. Not to mention that you are standing upwind. You're out of luck, Kurenai.ne-chan. Ginko-chan's nose is as good as the Inuzuka's when it comes to picking up scents. I'll keep that in mind next time, Kurenai responds. Well, I just came from Yakumo's house. It appears that she has come down with the flu, so she will not be training with us today. Therefore. Hey, I know. Let's go visit Yakumo-chan. Are you sure we should bother her when she should be resting, Naruto? Sama? Ginko is right, Naruto. Beside, you still need to. Kurenai. Sensei, I bet Yakumo-chan can use some company, Naruto grumbles. It would help her heal quicker if someone is there to take care of her. Fine, fine. I give up. I'm not even going to bother trying to convince you otherwise. When Naruto says, let's go, he lifts Yugito and Ginko off the ground. The group finds the girl sleeping in her bed when they get to Yakumo's little mansion. Yakumo looks to the side, sensing an approaching figure. Ahaya, Yakumo-chan. Naruto. Sama. Emerging into the room, Yugito exclaims, we're here too, Yakumo-chan. Kurenai instructs, keep it down, Yugito. Yakumo needs her rest, as the other members of the group arrive. Everyone is here. We heard that you got sick, Yakumo-chan. So we came over to check on you, says Naruto. Sorry for being such a bother, don't be silly, Yakumo-chan. Everyone gets sick sometimes, Naruto responds. If any one of us gets sick, I bet you wouldn't think of us as a bother either. When Yakumo bolts up, she slams her head back on the pillow after feeling lightheaded. Of course not, she exclaims, but I'm holding everyone back by being sick. Don't worry, Yakumo-chan. If anyone is holding us back, it's Naruto-kun. Yugito. Chan. That's not nice. Yugito's only reaction to Naruto is to stick out her tongue at him. Naruto sulks in a corner, complaining, and Yakumo can't help but laugh at his reaction. Come on Naruto, you volunteered to take care of Yakumo, so get to work, says Kurenai. Okay. Kurenai leans against the wall, smiling and crossing her arms, with the intention of watching Naruto struggle for a little while before intervening. Similar to Kurenai, Gaara observes the events from the corner of the room. Ginkgo and Yugito are simply waiting for Naruto to make a mistake while standing in the middle of the room. Naruto approaches Yakumo and places his hand on his forehead to check for a fever. Yugito and Ginkgo snort at Naruto's perplexed expression as Yakumo pulls her blanket over her face to conceal her blush as Naruto's hand approaches. Nay, Yakumo. Chan. Maybe you shouldn't cover yourself up completely like this, your face is kind of warm. I think you might have a fever. I'm pretty sure that a fever is not the reason that Yakumo. Chan's face is warm Naruto. Sama, Ginkgo says with a giggle. Well what else would it be then? Like I told you Ginkgo. Naruto is the thickest person I know. Yugito. Chan, that's not very nice. I'm sure there are people who are denser than Naruto. Sama. So you're not denying that he's dense? Ginkgo asserts, it is impossible to deny what is true. You two do realize I can hear everything right. Naruto mutters as he returns his focus to Yakumo, who is now entirely encased in the blanket, clutching onto its edge with just the tips of her fingers visible. Mo Yakumo. Chan, your condition is going to get even worse if you keep doing that. Before properly tucking Yakumo in, Naruto pulls the blanket from her hands with a firm tug. Naruto pulls up a chair and asks, how exactly are you feeling, Yakumo? Chan. Yakumo coughs a few times before saying, I think I caught a cold, and I have a sore throat too. As everyone else watches in disbelief, Naruto creates 3 Kage Bunshin and sends them out of the room. One of the clones quickly reappears with a towel and a bucket of water before rushing away once more. Naruto reaches in, grabs the towel, and dabs it in the bucket. Naruto folds the soaked towel neatly and applies it to Yakumo's forehead after wringing out the last of the moisture. After 15 minutes or so, 2 of the clones come back into the room, one with a big bowl and the other with a small pot. The 2 clones dispel themselves as Naruto stands up and approaches, placing the objects on the bedside table beside him. Naruto slowly approaches and pours the contents of the pot into the bowl, trying to cool the liquid by waving his free hand over the bowl. Naruto gives Yakumo the bowl and helps him sit up. I can't find any ingredients in the refrigerator, says Naruto, so I used the canned broth in the cabinet. Arigato Naruto. Sama. The final clone eventually shows up with a couple of lunchboxes about an hour later. As Naruto dispels the clone, everyone turns to watch him, anticipating the unpredictable ninja.in. Training to respond. Like I said, the refrigerator was empty so I sent the clone to get some groceries. Kurenai asks, what about the lunchboxes? I was looking for Tsunade.ba. Chan. But Shizune.ne. Chan was the only one home. I told her about Yakumo. Chan's condition and she fixed up those lunchboxes for her, says Naruto. Shizune.ne. Chan said that these would help Yakumo. Chan recover quicker. I see, Kurenai responds, just remember to reheat them before you eat them Yakumo. After saying, hi, Kurenai. Sensei, Yakumo yawns. Alright, Yakumo needs her rest, so we should probably leave now. Ginkgo and Yugito say, okay, get better soon Yakumo. Chan, and they leave the room, followed closely by Gaara and Kurenai. I'll just put these in the refrigerator. You can take them out and reheat them when you wake up. Arigato Naruto. Sama. As the group eventually exits the mansion, Kurenai smiles and turns to face them, praising them for their capacity to look after Yakumo. However, as soon as Kurenai is certain that the group is sufficiently distant from the mansion, her expression quickly changes. How did the 4 of you find out about Yakumo's condition? Kurenai.ne. Chan. You were the one that told us Yakumo. Chan is sick. Kurenai's expression hardens as she states, I'm talking about the Idu monster, not Naruto because of that condition. We have no idea what you are talking about Kurenai. Sensei, Yugito says, feigning innocuousness. You know very well what I'm talking about. I heard the 4 of you talking about it in the clearing. I was hoping that you would be too far away to overhear us, Ginkgo responds, but I guess I didn't notice you early enough. Kurenai.ne. Chan, this isn't the best time to be talking about Yakumo, Chan. Pray tell Naruto, when exactly would be the best time then? I don't know when exactly. until we are strong enough to defeat the Edo monster. Defeat the Edo? Are you out of your minds? You aren't even ninjas yet and you want to defeat the Edo monster? Kurenai shouts. This is all a huge mistake. I should never have let the four of you talk me into teaching Yakumo. It would really be a mistake if you give up now, Naruto growls while staring at the ground. The only thing keeping the Edo monster from breaking out is Yakumo Chan's willpower. She would lose all her will to fight against the monster's control if you give up on her. And what would you know about all of this, because I was like her once. Gaara, that's all right Naruto. Yuhi. Sensei, I'm sure you've heard of my abilities. About Shukaku. Yes. It is because of Naruto and Yugito's help that I finally regained control, Gaara responds, which is why we believe so strongly that with our help, Yakumo can defeat her inner demon as well. I cannot put the four of you in danger for just a possibility. You didn't Kurenai. Chan. We volunteered. All we ask of you is, please don't give up on Yakumo Chan. As a shinobi, I cannot allow myself to show cowardice, Kurenai says with a smirk, especially not when I will be outdone by 4 children. Thank you Kurenai. Chan. I am responsible for your safety, so try not to do anything reckless. Yugito declares, we'll do our best, Kurenai. Sensei. That's not nearly good oh forget it. You kids can never stay out of trouble. You know us best Kurenai. Chan. It's not a good thing to be already famous for you antics at your age Naruto. Yugito and Ginkgo can only chuckle at Naruto's antics while he rubs the back of his head in shame. Kurenai also observes that Gaara attempts to put as much distance between himself and Naruto as possible by taking a few small steps away from the others. Kurenai grins as he leads the 4 kids back to the Hokage mansion. Yakumo is absent due to illness, so Genjutsu training is suspended for a week. When Yugito and Ginkgo decide to stay home and socialize with the other girls because they have nothing better to do, Naruto and Gaara go out to the street, and Minato is forced to stay in fear at the Hokage's office or his study in the mansion. Naruto decides to travel to every district in Konoha, while Gaara is happy to find an empty training ground where he can meditate and strengthen his sand control. When it's time to go home one evening, Naruto chooses to take a shortcut through a certain neighborhood with a decidedly adult tone. After seeing the majority of the stores lining the streets during his previous life's journey with Jiraiya and his multiple attempts to find Tsunade throughout the village, Naruto puts his hands behind his head and starts his leisurely walk home. He is not at all uncomfortable with his surroundings. Naruto would just stare back at anyone who gave him a questioning look until they gave up and moved on. However, Naruto once sees a familiar face sagging over the counter of one of the bars lining the streets, looking past the individual. The man who had been staring at Naruto crosses the street and prevents him from entering the store when he gets close to the bar. The concerned citizen asks, Naruto, Sama, don't you think you are a bit young to be visiting places like this? Naruto fires up a little chakra and says, look, I'm just trying to check on a friend of mine who's obviously drunk inside, so please move out of the way. The man merely steps aside to let the child inside, not intending to confront the Hokage's son. Everyone's focus turns to the obviously underage boy approaching the counter as the bell rings, indicating another customer. Everyone quickly looks as far away from the pair as they can after giving them one glare. The only reaction Naruto gets when he taps someone on the shoulder is a cup that is thrown at him, which he barely avoids. The individual merely snatches an empty bottle and attempts to smash it over Naruto's head after hearing the sound of the cup smashing against the wall. Naruto grabs the man's wrist with both hands and just stops the arm's movement in time to see the bottle fall on top of his head. The individual leans in to examine Naruto more closely, squinting her eyes. Hokage. Sama? When did you get so short? Kurenai. Chan, you're drunk. Please don't call me that Hokage. Sama, you're much older than I am. As he plays along with the inebriated Kurenai, Naruto says, all right Kurenai, that's enough, come on, let's get you out of here. But Hokage. Sama, I'm not on duty tomorrow. I said that's enough Kurenai. I will not have my ninjas act like drunken fools. Naruto yells and kicks like a child as he drags the kunoichi out the door after paying for all of Kurenai's drinks and laments the injustice of it all. After they leave, Naruto sighs and shifts his weight to help Kurenai and stop her from attempting to enter another bar. What has gotten into you Kurenai? You're not the type to get drunk like that, Naruto responds. I thought you would be the most responsible one out of the group of young ninjas. Naruto is not prepared for Kurenai to start crying in the middle of the road. Naruto barely regains his balance as Kurenai's weight nearly crushes against him, and he leads her to her apartment. Asuma broke up with me. Kurenai yells, sobbing uncontrollably. Naruto nearly loses control of Kurenai after saying that final line. He can't help but feel sorry for Kurenai because of the expression on her face as he looks up toward the kunoichi. I got sick of his smoking, so I told him to choose between me and his cigarettes, says Kurenai, and the bastard chose his cigarettes. I'm sure he'll realize what he did and apologize to you tomorrow, so let's just get you home. Asuma and I share an apartment. I don't want to see his face ever again, Kurenai yells, clutching Naruto and clinging to him for dear life. Naruto muses to himself, I don't think you can see any part of him period the way you are now. Kurenai says, I'll find a hotel to stay in for now, with pauses from the alcohol and the sobbing. That won't do. I can't just leave you at a hotel in your condition, Naruto responds. You are staying over at the Hokage mansion, we have plenty of spare rooms there. Tsunade.ba. Chan can check on you in the morning. Hi, Hokage. Sama, Kurenai utters as she sags and rests her entire weight on Naruto. Naruto barely gets Kurenai to follow him back toward the mansion after he stumbles for a few steps. Everyone has returned to their rooms and is most likely asleep by the time he gets home. Too exhausted to choose any other rooms, Naruto sighs and leads Kurenai upstairs, where all the bedrooms are, opening the door to the room nearest the staircase. Unfortunately for him, Kushina heard the front door open and went out into the hallway to see that one of the village's best young kunoichi was being led into the bedroom by a person with wild blonde hair. Just as Naruto is able to assist Kurenai into bed, Kushina charges forward, her rage fueled by the erratic hormones of her pregnancy. Kushina arrives at the door just in time to witness Kurenai, who is intoxicated, putting her arms around the blonde and dragging him into bed with her. Namikaze Minato. What do you think, Naruto? Kushina asks, her rage entirely gone. Hi mom. With his arms folded, Kushina declares, I thought I taught you better than that. I never thought you would take advantage of a drunk woman, Naruto. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Well, I suppose it can't hurt to have a more experienced woman in your life. The other girls are much too immature to be a good wife, and quite frankly I don't see that changing anytime soon. Minato approaches the doorway and says, Kushina-chan, did you call me? I was in the study. Oh my. Naruto, you are much too young to be sleeping around with a woman, and with Kurenai no less. This isn't what it looks like, Kurenai mutters, Hokage. Sama, as she clings to Naruto. Minato smirks and remarks, this is quite a bit of trouble our son has gotten into, isn't it, Kushina-chan? Returning Minato's smirk, Kushina remarks, it would certainly seem so, Minato-kun. Oh well, she says. Good night, Naruto. Make sure you don't do anything you're not supposed to. Wait, Mom. Don't leave me here. Might as well get comfortable, Naruto. If your mom decides not to help you, then I certainly won't oppose her decision. But Dad, Naruto lies in the same bed as the kunoichi, entangled in Kurenai's limbs, before the door slams shut before he can finish. When Naruto wakes up from one of the most awkward and uncomfortable sleeps, he finds himself assuming the role of Kurenai's human teddy bear while she is still in dreamland. Comfy? Asks Kushina, who is leaning against the door frame. Mom, please stop fooling around. Kurenai.ne. Chan has my arms pinned and I can't use Kawarimi no Jutsu to get away. That's the whole point, dear. Your father and I are very curious to see how this will play out. Please help me out of here, Kurenai.ne. Chan is going to kill me when she wakes up. She will do no such thing. After all, she is the one sleeping with a minor. Kurenai is going to have a heart attack when she wakes up. In order to expose the hidden Sanin, Kushina says, that's why I woke you up so early, Tsunade.ba. Chan, just in case someone can't handle the shock. For the look on your son and Kurenai's face, I'll let that slide for now. But Mom, didn't you consider that someone as old as Tsunade.ba Chan won't be able to handle the shock? Who's going to heal the healer then? Why, you little, don't let him rile you up, Tsunade.ba Chan. He's just trying to get you upset and pull him out of Kurenai Chan's grasp. You're right, Kushina. Letting Kurenai find him in her arms when she wakes up is a much crueler punishment for the brat. Well, that wasn't what I was trying to say, but if it calms you down, Tsunade.ba Chan, go ahead and think that way, Kushina responds with a shrug. I better get to work and clear that hangover before it even starts to act up. I want Kurenai thinking clearly for this, Tsunade responds. Tsunade is happy with her work after a few minutes and returns to the door to wait for the show to start. Kurenai's eyelids flutter and open, revealing her ruby-red eyes as the last of the alcohol leaves her system and she feels energized. In addition to the fact that she is not alone in bed, Kurenai also notices that the other person has blonde hair, which indicates that they are most likely not Asuma and that she has never shared a bed with the chain smoker. Events from last night will soon begin to slowly emerge from the shadowy corners of her mind. Kurenai scoots back as far as she can and wraps the blanket around herself, screaming, "Ak! Hokage, Sama? I didn't know your fantasy is to sleep with my husband Kurenai." Kushina. Sama, wait, I can explain this. Go ahead. I would love to hear why you are sleeping with my son. Kurenai slowly turns to face the blonde and asks, "Son, Naruto?" Good morning Kurenai. Chan. Kurenai's pupils slowly dilate as she begins to hyperventilate while clutching her head. When Tsunade notices Kurenai's reaction, she quickly intervenes and uses her chakra to soothe Kurenai before the shock drives her insane. Kurenai gradually goes over every scene from the previous night in her head once her mind is functioning normally again, and at last she realizes that the person is noticeably shorter than the current Hokage. That was you last night, Naruto. Yeah, I was coming home when I saw that you were slumping over the counter in a bar. Kurenai finally recalls her current circumstance when Kushina clears her throat, and she slowly raises the blanket to see if she is appropriate. Kurenai sighs with relief that everything she owns is in its proper place, rushes out of bed, and puts even more distance between herself and Naruto, even if it means stepping closer to Kushina. I'm still waiting for the explanation, Kurenai. Kushina. Sama, I have no excuse for my actions. I am willing whatever punishment you see fit. Well, given the fact you slept with a minor, my son in particular, Kushina responds, the minimum punishment would probably be to strip you of your titles and banish you from the village. Kurenai hangs her head in defeat and says, I understand. However, I might consider an alternative resolution. Kushina responds, I understand you broke up with Asuma last night? Hi, Kushina. Sama. That's why I went to the bar. And I believe you said that you don't want to see Asuma ever again. Hi, Kushina. Sama. Well, I can't really do much if you two are ever placed on a mission together, but I can let you stay at this mansion and use this room. Kushina responds, given that you promise to care for Naruto from now on. You mean, as in his wife? Well, fiancé at first, but yes, wife eventually. You can't blackmail Kurenai. Chan like this. Naruto yells as he leaps from his bed. Minato joins the group and states, yes, I believe only I have the power to assign punishment to ninjas of Konoha. You don't have any problems with my arrangements, do you, Minato-kun? No, of course not, Kushina. Chan, Minato responds, stepping back a few paces and shielding his hands from his wife's fury. That's settled then. No, I won't allow it. Calm down, Naruto. Maybe Kurenai. Chan doesn't mind it at all. Kushina responds, you can raise your concerns now. We can come up with some other punishment if you really are so adamantly against it. I can't. I am much too old for Naruto. I'm a full 14 years older than him. Is age the only problem? Well, Kurenai turns to face Naruto and abruptly stops talking altogether. She really finds nothing bad to say about Naruto, aside from the age difference. He is a loving, caring person with a wild streak who is fiercely protective of those close to him while also having a healthy respect for their abilities. In fact, his personality is almost exactly what Kurenai is looking for. The age gap and the fact that many other girls are already vying for Naruto's attention are the only drawbacks to the entire arrangement. Kushina approaches Kurenai and places a hand on her shoulder as she notices her eyes gradually drifting in the direction of Naruto's room, where the other girls are presently sleeping. I'm sure they don't mind sharing if you don't, Kushina responds. After all, they're already sharing Naruto amongst themselves. I am still not sure. Give it a try, Kurenai. If it doesn't work out, there's no harm done. I don't really plan on punishing you or anything. After all, you only treated Naruto like a teddy bear last night, Kushina says as she looks back at Minato, although we really should have a small talk about that fantasy you have of my husband. Kushina. Sama. There is no fantasy, Kurenai beams. I merely thought it was Hokage. Sama in bed with me because I thought it was Hokage. Sama that brought me here. Kushina winks and adds, good. Because unlike those girls, I don't share, alright. Stop embarrassing the poor girl. At this rate, she's going to have a stroke, Tsunade responds. I'll have Shizune and Rin bring your stuff over from your apartment. Arigato, Tsunade. Sama.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.